Welcome, everyone, to the Lost by One Goal podcast, hosted by me, Richard Savva, a disgruntled Spurs fan who thinks that the Spurs fan base is absolutely effing diabolical. Good morning to each and every one of you. Good morning to Corey. Good morning to the Cookmeister.
Morning,
guys.
Morning.
As my man Danny says, different day, same Spurs. Good morning. How are you both? Are you well?
Trying to get some sort of reality back into my life after last night and the last 18 games in the league. I mean, what were we expecting? Forest lost 2 games in a row, whereas our last win was Southampton, and we haven't really been able to string anything consistency-wise together for ages. And then you get people making videos saying, oh, yeah, we're going to smash Forest. Hell, they're 26 points in front of us.
Yeah, let's be fair. People like the hippie making those videos. He came on here and told me, Savva, you don't understand football, but makes a video every week saying we're going to smash someone. Then when we lose, he says, these fans are poor. Yeah, all right, mate. Look, it's not just him. I'm seeing even content creators I liked last night, the excuses that are being made. Mark, before we get into it, good morning, sir. How are you?
Morning, Sav. Morning, Corey. Morning, the chat.
Mate.
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I'm fuming. I won't lie to you. 57 years old, mate, and it still fumes me up to this day. Do you know what I mean? What I'm seeing, you know, we sort of reverted, you know, to the pragmatised way of playing football against Frankfurt on Thursday, and we're all hoping that sort of thing, not exactly the same, but to a point, is implemented again. No. Not with this manager, mate. Let's break all the records under the sun for bad reasons. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, we all knew what Forest were going to do last night. It doesn't take a lot of working out, does it, chaps? You know what I mean? But we just looked awful, Savva, again, I think. We just looked rubbish. We had no penetration. What do we expect with the 5 or 6 that we've got to choose across from the front line? You know? Just rubbish.
I mean, David D, welcome, said, I don't like the state of our club, but my God, Savva is depressing. I love this. Think about how fucking dumb this man is. Big up to you, David, whoever you are. You're dumb. I'm going to call you out. I've got no tolerance for dickheads today, right? I don't like the state our club is in, but Savva is depressing to listen to. Sure. What would you like me to say? You don't like the state our club is in, idiot, because it's shit. But you want me to come on and say some nice things. Look, guys, I think that's the most worrying thing for me, Mark, is, and we'll get into the game in more detail, but I think the most worrying thing for me is we got fans that actually think we played well because the manager told us that we played well, right? This is what Nottingham Forest do. Right? I don't know if any of our fans have watched Forest all season, but when they're saying we had all the ball, we had all the chances, we had all the possession. Yes, Mark, that's how Nottingham Forest play. Nottingham Forest sit in, let you have the ball. They know how good they are at the back, and they counter-attack.
Yeah.
Our fans going, we played well. What? Played well. We overhit every cross. We were awful at the back. What, Mark? I'm truly at the point where I don't understand anymore how any Spurs fan wants this football manager. Like this is just beyond bad now. Like we'll get to the stats in a minute, but this is beyond bad. And I'm scared, Mark, that the manager, I don't think he even believes what he's saying. When he said he thinks we played well, but I don't think he believes. I think this is a manager who's massively under pressure and knows it. I think this is a manager absolutely who's been told he's going at the end of the season, Europa League or not.
Yeah, he's just coming out with nonsense, isn't he? You can't say in the presser surely that we played well. Yeah, we had possession, but at the end of the day, possession counts for nothing unless the ball's going in the back of the net.
Exactly.
Right? Now, last night, I don't know the exact number. You'll probably bring it up, Sav, but there was somewhere around 50-odd crosses that came across last night. How many did we get our Barnet on?
1. No, 2.
2 because of the save from the keeper.
That's
Out
like,
of 50 odd. What is going on? What are we doing?
well, you got to put this down to the coaches as well, man. If they're not coaching the players the way they should be coached, what hope have these guys got under Ange and these backroom from Scotland lot? You know, we took the best of the Scottish League for the coaches to be our coaches at Tottenham, and you just got to sit there and scratch your head.
But
I can't
even
take
when you
this
look at
right
it,
now.
who sets up a tactic to whip loads of crosses in when you're playing against that defence, when you know Milenkovic and Murillo are that good in the air? Like, I know we scored a header, but most of the game, Milenkovic, everything on it. Top defender, by the way. Top centre half, Milenkovic. He is what our fans think Romero is. Just going to put that out there. But that was the tactic, guys. That was the tactic. Crosses in, and then people are going, oh, Telenodebur played well. Did they? Did they play well? What did they do? Like, I'm just so worried at this stage that we're normalising losing, Mark. We're normalising losing games.
Yeah, it's just, at the end of the day, we've had this chat before, Sav, and it's all about standards. And it seems like the fan base, the standards have fell through the floor. And this is what's going on now is acceptable. You know, we look into it a bit deeper, if you like, tactics and stuff like that. There's people that are just maybe just looking at the football thinking, well, at least we've got the ball and we are attacking to a point. Are we? Are we attacking? You know, like I said, no end product, you can have 99% of the ball, but no end product, what's the point? What is the point? There's no patterns of play. It's just the same thing over and over again. And it's so frustrating. I think you've hit the nail
on the head, Mark.
There
aren't any patterns of play.
No.
We go behind, then we have some chaotic football where the other team sits back and we just get the ball out wide, crossing, get the ball out wide, crossing.
Yeah.
None of our midfielders have a shot. When Maddison isn't playing, there's zero creativity. I don't want to hear that Kulu can play in central. Slow, ploddy, makes the wrong pass every time. But you're right, Mark. There is no patterns of play. We are an abysmal team, and the manager's had 2 years to coach this team.
Yeah.
This is 2 years of coaching, Mark.
Yes.
What gets me with it as well, there's the whole patterns of play, especially down with the basics of a triangle with tactics. 3 players moving around to make sure there's always a pass on. I don't see that. You see the wingers, they'll run down the wing, and if they can't get anywhere, they'll pass it back. I mean, just to take your man on. As I keep jokingly saying, go and get Aaron Lennon out of retirement. The guy might actually do something for us. Get Defoe up front. At least he can score. The guys are in their 40 years. They're in their 40s now, these two, and they still look better than the Legends match was on, you know. Or bring them in as coaches. Defoe as a coach, Lennon as a coach, teaching the wingers how to take a player on. It's not hard once you start coaching the players right.
The worrying thing, guys, I mean, look, we're going to bring up some facts and some stats. You know, I like to, because, again, it just puts all these people in the mud. I'm seeing so many YouTubers last night just saying things like, we should have been 2-2. We could have won that game. I hate to break it to people. I don't know if anyone's forgotten this, lads. Football isn't just about chances and possession. Football is about what you do in 90 minutes. Football's about what you do without the ball. Football's about how you set up defensively, how you mark at corners. We don't do all of that. And then we've got fans saying, we were the better team. What were we the better team? Nottingham Forest, for me, didn't need to get out of second gear all game. I don't think Nottingham Forest had to do a lot.
They did.
Yeah, they got their 2 early goals and they literally went, go on, then break us down. And our fans go, but we played brilliantly. And then Ange comes out. Ange Postecoglou comes out. And I'm going to bring up my first picture here, right? Ange comes out with this nonsense. Where is he? Actually, sorry, this was the point. Jamie Carragher said, that, you know, Ange Postecoglou is constantly talking about the same problems in every interview, but it is his job to fix them. And he said, it would worry me if I'm a Tottenham fan. The manager says the team are playing well. But the worrying thing, guys, is it doesn't worry the Tottenham fans. The majority of Tottenham fans agree with the manager that we're playing well. Oh, we didn't deserve to lose 4-2 against Bournemouth. We didn't deserve to lose against Nottingham Forest. 18 games in a row. Sorry, 18 defeats. I think I've heard the same excuse every time. It's only by 1 goal. It's concentration. We played well. Are we at the stage, guys? I'll put it out there. We're at the stage where we kind of deserve this as not all of us, but as an overall fan base that have our heads firmly buried in that sand. We kind of deserve this a little bit, Mark, as a collective. I feel we do.
Yeah, well, you know, going back to Thursday again, we thought things had changed slightly and we was hoping to see that again. You know, like I said, to a point, I know we're at home and that yesterday. But I just find it, I can't understand, Savva, why so many people think this is good. I just don't get it. I mean, I'm watching, you're watching, we're all watching every week. And sorry to repeat myself, but nothing changes. So I've got to ask the question, and I'll ask it to the chat as well. If you're doing the same thing every week and it's not working, what will the results be?
Einstein's old thing,
it's
isn't
quite
it?
simple, really, isn't it? If you don't
definition of insanity is Tottenham.
But if you don't adjust, your tactics, your in-game management, when you can see it's not working because he's doing the same thing, doesn't matter what team he plays against, whether it's Liverpool or Ipswich, but it obviously don't work. So why would you continue with it?
You want to know what I found shocking about all this, the tactics, everything. The first time in about 8 years I went to see Tottenham versus Southampton. All right, what a match to go watch. Wasn't exactly a blowout. Stadium quiet. Was supposed to be this new stadium with twice the amount of fans. There was no noise, hardly anyone singing. All the noise was coming from South Stand. You've got it was hard to watch, and then you got a manager with his hands in his pockets when the Southampton manager is on the line going like trying to direct his players what to do. I want to see more out of that out of Ange. I want to see him, shouting at the players. This guy can't do it. I've been saying it for 24 months. The guy can't do it.
But the worrying thing is, and morning, Mark, the other Mark. I'll keep you two, Mark. Actually, let's stick the marks together.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate. The statesman at the top,
yeah. If you can swap us about, that's our normal positions.
There you go.
I know which way to point.
The Ant and Deck of Spurs YouTube. And one day I hope you change your channel to the Elder Statesman. Guys, the truly baffling thing is this. Ange Ball does not work. We've seen it whenever he comes away from Ange Ball, we look a decent team. The moment we've won that game, it's almost like his vanity and stupidity kicks in and he says, I don't care how we win playing that way. I'm going to go back to what I know. And again, in the first 20 minutes of that first half, I'll come to you, Mark Cousins, right? In the first 20 minutes of that first half, not switched on at corners, not tracking runners, no tackles going in. Porro caught up the pitch in midfield. Van der Ven and Romero can't mark Chris Wood to save their life. It was just same old Ange Postecoglou football, wasn't it, Mark?
It is. This has become the norm now. It really has. It's becoming normal. It's becoming normal. Like, it's horrendous. It's horrendous. You would have thought, we all said it, that hopefully last Thursday he learned. Right, this is how you grind out a result. You play the pragmatic way. You don't chuck everyone up front and leave two on the halfway line. We grind that out last Thursday, and I sort of thought, well, maybe this is the start of him learning. But no. It's become the norm now for us to lose. What's that, 18 now in the league? 18. That's over 50% of our games because there's still 5 left, isn't there?
Yeah.
So we've lost 18.
50,
we've only played 33.
If you round it up. If you round it up, it's like 54.6% or so.
Yeah,
55%.
I Googled earlier, the year we got relegated, 76, 77, We lost 21 games out of a 42-game season.
Yeah, 50%.
That's 50%. 50%. This is worse than that. You know, and it's just luckily that Southampton, Leicester, and Ipswich are terrible that we're not down there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When Burnley and Leeds come up next year, they're not going to be as bad as that. They're certainly not going to be as bad as Southampton anyway. You know, because I watched Burnley last night and they got something about them.
The worrying thing is, Mark, like Jamie Carragher said, he's saying the same thing every week for 2 seasons. This is now 2 seasons where the same excuse, and our fans have joined in with it. Yeah, our fans have joined in with it, right? Oh, we only lost by 1 goal.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, but it was individual errors. Yes, but the problem is, if it's individual errors, if it's 1 goal, if it's every game the same pattern on repeat, at what stage does the manager go, my tactics don't work, my coaching doesn't work? Go to Daniel Levy and say, I need a defensive coach. I need someone that can set up a back 4. There's no shame in that. If Ange Postecoglou, I'd respect him. If Ange Postecoglou went and got a really good defensive coach, I'd respect that. Acknowledge your weaknesses. Get somebody in who's an expert at that. Employ them. You do the attacking. Let this guy do the defending. But he doesn't. And they're just showing the goals now on Sky Sports News. For the 2 headers, one that Chris Wood was offside, and the other one where he scored. Van der Ven and Romero are nowhere near him.
No.
They are.
How many times do we see this? How many times do we see this in a game where a ball comes over and they've got 2 at the far post? It's a cycle. It repeats every week, virtually every game.
Every game.
They get overloads. You know, and our defenders just, I don't know what they're coached, honestly.
I don't think they are. Mark,
no.
This does not look like a defence that is coached. We could bring up whatever screenshots we want from the last 2 years. I've got them all, guys, right? I could bring up whatever one I want. That's not a coached defence, right? Now look at Nottingham Forest last night. That is a coached defence. That is a team that say, you know what? Have 20 shots. It don't matter. Whip in 48 crosses.
What makes it better with watching how Forest have played yesterday is they managed to put 2 banks of 4 in front of the goal after, scoring their 2 goals. They defended every one of those players on that pitch, put in a shift. It's not mind-blowing, is it? 2 banks of 4 in front of your goalkeeper, have your 2 up front, or whoever. I know it's not 4-4-2 anymore, but have that one outlet up top. You got your 8 or 9 men back protecting that goal, then you break. It's not hard to understand football, really, is it?
See, the difference is that Nuno will change it to 5 at the back, like he did when we went there. Because they went 1-0 up, and then he stuck 5 at the back. You know what I mean? This is where, is Nuno an elite coach? No. But he understands the game, and he will switch. And he will switch when necessary. You know, this man knows one way, and that is it. It's his way or the highway, and you can see it. We've lost 18 now. It's going to be 19. It's going to be 19, isn't it, after the next game?
I mean, guys, I'm going to get some more pictures up in a minute. I've got a few super chats quickly. Big up. Good morning to the Queen, Ellie. How are you, Ellie? I hope you're well. Good morning. Good morning to all of you in the chat, by the way. Smash the like button. Listen, only 94 likes. There's 400 of you in here. That's 1 in 4. We're now at Dominic Solanke ratios. We'll talk about all our players individually in a minute. Let's have a little look. I mean, James, as I said, though, build momentum by going with the same 11, not by making 5 or 6 changes. That's what I said to you yesterday. You can't build momentum if you keep changing your 11. You have to, at some point, keep the 11. You've got to. As we said yesterday, Vineet, big up to you. Good morning. I said for be fair, Ange shouldn't be judged on yesterday nor credited for Frankfurt. The Europa League game was just players playing for pride. Ange's should know it'll be the same with Mason, if not better. Look, the thing is, clearly the instruction on Thursday night was to sit in and defend. Clearly it was. I don't believe the players just did that on their own. It was clearly but I agree with you. I completely understand what you're saying. Ethan, thank you very much. You're very generous, my friend. Said, Anne just demonstrated he's not fit for purpose for some time now. I'm personally putting more blame on Levy now for not sacking him and saving the season. Agreed. Possession doesn't equal we played well. Ethan, you've said two things there. One which will delight Lubo when he joins, one which won't. Because he says the same thing about blaming Levy now that he's not sacked him. But Lubo seems to think that possession and chances means we played well. So I'm going to save this super chat and bring it back up a little bit later as well, Ethan. Thank you very much. Very generous. Big up to Anthony Clark with a super sticker. Really appreciate you, my man. As always, thank you very much. Guys, let's... Petro, you're saying what's so crazy with what you said. Again, you're another person, Petro, going... You don't see why the manager should be sacked right now. Petro, this manager should be sacked immediately, like now. Fans like you go, what does it matter? We're losing weekly. We're losing weekly, Petro. I genuinely don't know how fans like you can sit here and say, well, who's going to take it right now? I don't care right now. I don't care. Bring back Højbjerg to be player manager for 6 days. I don't give a shit, Petro. I give it to Ryan Mason for 5 games, 6 games, Petro. This manager is killing the football club, and fans like you have got what you deserve. Sorry. I'll call out the fan base. Save the season, Petro. Get a manager in, that can blow some feel-good factor into the European games. I don't know how you don't get this. Your backing of this crap manager is part of the problem in this fan base. And sorry, panel, for ranting, but this is the problem. We've got too many. Every week, there's been an excuse for this manager every week for a year as to why not to sack him, guys. Oh, but the FA Cup. Oh, but the League Cup. Oh, but this. Oh, but that. Oh, but injuries. When is enough, guys?
There's no standards at this club anymore. No. The standards I grew up watching, when we actually won things, are gone. Are gone. I mean, but any fan that says that they'll accept 18 league defeats and we still got 5 games left, it could be 20, 21, who knows? I'm not going to lose all of them. But remember, we got to go to Anfield. We got to go to Villa Park. We got Brighton at home the last game. I don't know who the other two are, but
we've got Palace.
Oh, Palace as well. Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah, but it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. And remember, we built a £1 billion stadium to up the standards, and it's got worse. It's got worse. It's
you don't get it.
I understand when people are saying. I understand when people are saying, "Oh, let's go and win Europa." Yes, go and win that, but not at the detriment of the league.
Agreed.
The league is your bread and butter. The league is where you are. The league is your, where you finish in the league. That is your. That is your sort of how you are as a team. We're going to end up 16th or 17th. It's a disgrace.
Should we have can I just butt in a sec? Sorry. Listen, Mark was talking about standards, right? Petro, do you support your club to lose every week?
He does.
That's all I've got to say to you. Do you support your club because you want them to be better, you want them to win? Obviously, we're not going to win every week. Don't matter how good we are, but we're not seeing anything, Petro. It's been the same crap. What are you liking about it? And as far as, he's still here, the season's dead, he should have been gone months ago. And for whatever reason, he's still here. And it is not helping us, mate. We need a coach, and it don't matter if it's 6 games to go. The momentum that will give us, it's too late now because it's next Thursday or whatever it is, I don't know. But, the momentum a coach would give us is massive. Absolutely massive. You know, and it may well get us over the line in the Europa if someone comes in that's actually got a clue. So, you know, it's never too late, Petro. You know, we all want what's best for our football club, and Ange Postecoglou is not what best for us.
Then what gets me with these next 5 or 6 games in the league as well, each one of these teams has a coach or a manager that has got his team playing the best they can. Liverpool won the league. Villa, they're up competing to get into the Champions League again. Brighton, they've got Heusler, or whatever his name is. He's got Brighton. Okay, they're in a bit of a free fall, but they're still sitting close to a sort of European spot. You got Palace, since they've had a new manager in on a bounce, and they're looking stronger. You know, it's not hard to see that a good manager is a good coach. And this guy is neither. He's neither a good manager because he can't manage day-to-day activities between the media because he insults them. He insults the fans and starts arguing with fans. I mean, he should have been sacked when he started arguing with fans, doing this crap to the fans. I'm sorry, man. That's gross misconduct towards fans. The fans are what pay for your wages, mate.
Well, look, I think the interesting thing is I was looking this morning. That's 1 win in 7 in the league. And that 1 win in 7 was against the worst team in the country. Here's a stat for you guys. I haven't actually, I put it in the group. You would have seen this earlier. Let me make sure I'm reading this correctly, shall I? Europe's top 5 leagues. Okay. So England, Spain, Germany, Italy, and France. This is one for people like Petro, people like Matt, people like Reezy, right? This is one for these people that can't seem to get it around their heads, right? But this is for people like this, look, who think Ange deserves to see out the cup because he's managed to knock out Frankfurt, right? This is a stat that should kill all stats. Europe's top 5 leagues: England, Spain, Germany, Italy, and France. 96 clubs in those top 5 leagues. Tottenham Hotspur, only 11 clubs across those 96 league teams have lost more games than Spurs.
Jesus.
Only 11 clubs, guys. Those 11 clubs, listen to the state of this: Montpellier, Le Havre, Southampton, Ipswich, Leicester, Valladolid, Kiel, Bochum, Heidenheim, Lecce, and Monza.
This is the sort of company we keep now, is it?
From 96 clubs, 85 clubs across the top 5 European leagues have lost less games than Tottenham Hotspur. That is where we are at, and we don't have outraged fans. We don't have outraged fans. We've got fans saying dumb shit like this and got us to a semi-final. Matt, I know you're probably 12. Do you know how many semi-finals between me, Corey, Mark, and Mark? How many semi-finals? Why are you going on like he's won it? Right? And this is what my man Perchy, big up Perchy. This is what Perchy sent me. He won't mind me using this. He has said this. Hang on. He said, what I find incredible, this Europa League run is putting a plaster over a severe wound and people are going, it's okay. The way people act about this Europa League run, like we've just beaten Bayern, Barca, and Inter Milan, Karabag, Ferencvaros, Alkmaar, Hoffenheim, Elfsborg, Frankfurt. This is the run that our fan base is living off. This is the run, guys, that people are telling me Ange deserves to stay at the club and manage that.
Do you want to know what gets me through this like European sort of run as well? I said this last night. Roma, by the time we played Roma, they were on their 3rd manager of the season. 3rd manager. We couldn't beat a Rangers team struggling in their league. We couldn't beat Galatasaray. Jose had us dead to the sword in that match. Like, come on. It's literally a plaster over the wound. Forget the plaster. Might as well just bleed out at this rate. We are.
Yeah. But guys, 85 teams across Europe's top 5 leagues have lost less games than us. That headline alone, and I've got loads that are about to come, by the way. I've got loads of stats. That headline alone, the 2 marks, is utterly despicable how far we've fallen from grace.
It's shocking, isn't it, Savva? That list you just had up there, you know, with won, drawn and lost games and managed to get to Europa semi. You know, Galatasaray absolutely smashed us off the pitch, if you remember rightly.
Yeah.
Had something like 32 or 33 shots on our goal. You know, and because it ended up 3-2, it was all right.
And then the famous trophy came out. We lost by 1 goal.
Mate, the European run that we've been on, who have we beaten that you're going to say out of that list is core? Yeah, they were top.
No one
will have some of that.
No one.
But then you call it a run. I would call it a light walk.
And I'll be honest, and I'll be honest with you.
I'll be
honest with you, right? The games that we have won in Europe, how many chances have we given up in all of them?
Shocking.
All of them. Like, it's a regular thing now that every game.
Reading that list.
The opposition will get 20 shots plus a game and clear-cut chances as well. There was one game, if they had a striker, well, they could have scored 10. I forget which one it was. It was one of the home games.
I think it was Karabag.
Yeah,
Karabag. Yeah, I know we went down to 10 men, but Mark, the problem with this is, listen, Frankfurt they're a good team. Good, they're decent. But this cup run that he deserves, he's beaten nobodies. He's beaten nobodies to get to the semi-final.
Even Rangers should have beat us.
Reading that list, there's 1 clean sheet, I think, in that whole list, isn't there? 1.
Let's have a look.
Well, that's a positive, Corey.
So we won 3-0. No, there's a few.
Oh yeah, 3-0. 2.
1.
No, there's 3. There's 3. Frankfurt, Elfsborg, and Alkmaar and Karabag. 4. There's 4.
Yeah.
If you go through all them games though,
yeah,
like the amount of shots and chances that we gave up in all of them, Rangers should have beat us at their place when we played their away and we drew 1-1.
They battered us.
They did.
Were relegated.
they battered us, Mark. Look, the worrying thing is this list of results is what is making our fans go European semi-final. Let's be fair. If this had been a season where Champions League teams dropped down out of the Champions League into the Europa League,
we'd be out of it.
We'd be out of this. We'd be out of this months ago.
Yeah.
We're benefiting, and then the lucky sod gets the easiest, not easy, the easiest of the 3 teams that are left in it, other than us. This is what this man has been doing. I'll say it loud and I'll say it proud. I don't care if this man wins a European trophy. For the better of this football club, he cannot be in charge, guys, next season. He cannot be in charge. This is Ten Hag with Man United all over again. He cannot be in charge.
Yeah, well, I've said on numerous channels, if he's here next season, because we know what type of players that we seem to be bringing in, it's going to be a long old season if he's in charge next year. You know, I've said, you know, Burnley are coming up, Leeds are coming up. I'd imagine Leeds will try and push on a bit. I don't know about Burnley. They seem a bit of a yo-yo team. But, you know, we think it's bad now, whatever we're on, 37, 39 points, whatever we're on now with 5 games to go. Don't be surprised if we're on less points next year and fighting for relegation. And I'll tell you why, because these bloody players ain't got it in them at the moment under this manager. They haven't got it in them to do it regularly. You know, last night, Pape Sarr running around like an headless chicken again. That's all he did. He ran around like an headless chicken. You know, we go back to it again, Sav. There's no structure there. You play away on Thursday. You know, you drop a few in, you don't invert. You know, They had a few chances, yeah, but we got away with it. We got through. Happy days. So why not, when that's worked for you, when you're playing against Forest, who have got European football to play for, we're playing for nothing, if you want to call it that, in the league, but they've got to have the passion on the pitch, Sav. They're not showing, you know, when players go on the pitch and you might lose 2-0 or you lose 1-0, whatever it is, right? But at the end of the game, you think to yourself, all right, they've had a go. Fair dues, they've had a go. That's all right. We're not even seeing that. We're just not seeing it. You know,
I went to many games. Sorry, mate. I went to many games in the 90s. Like, sort of mid-90s to late 90s. And we were pretty dreadful.
Yeah.
Pretty dreadful at the old White Hart Lane in them times. All right, we had the stars. Your man, Ginola, was there, Savva.
Oh,
you know,
man.
but I can honestly say every game you could see, yes, we weren't a good team.
But they played.
We had some good players, but they all mucked in. There was a system. We were drilled. There was none of this 2 on the halfway line and, you know, and just don't worry about defending. You know, they all put their hearts and soul into it. I forget who it was that said, he said, the badge on the front is always bigger than the name on the back. You know? And even Ginola understood that. You know, and remember when he was with us, he won double player of the year in a crap Tottenham team.
Yeah.
That's how good he was.
But we're talking about levels of footballer now that our fans don't get anymore. Our fans praise absolute shit now. We'll get to that.
So, interesting point, Perchy.
Oh, hello, Lubo. Good morning.
Morning. You're right. What you just said. Morning, guys.
Lubo, I hope when you first took your wife on a date all those decades ago, you didn't walk in and went, interesting point about Spurs today. I hope you were a little bit more.
Interesting point about Spurs. We haven't played yet. Wait, time for the date night.
She actually told me she wasn't into football.
Smart lady.
Poor her.
I think it's funny. What Perchy said is mirroring Poch in 2019 because Poch had gone to Levy before then and said, look, the team's coming to the end of the cycle. The way we play football, the players haven't got the legs. I need to rebuild. He didn't get the rebuild. You saw from Burnley onwards in the February that the results just went down the pan between Burnley and, was it Everton on the last game of the season before? I can't remember, but it was 3 weeks before the end. And we had a horrendous 11 weeks that, you know, the form dropped off a cliff. And it's the same again. But we're talking about the same thing today. We'll talk Liverpool. I think Liverpool will be Liverpool will be slightly different because they'll pin us back for 90 minutes next week and probably walk away with a 5-1 win. But every other game, if you look at all the other games, we're going to be saying the same thing.
Right, I need to answer that one that you brought up about the coaches there. Ange doesn't have a set backroom team that he's ever been with at any club. He has cherry-picked some of the best coaches out of the Scottish League, and it's proven when you look at where these coaches have been signed. Sorry, I had to say something to that because Ange has never had a set backroom coach team. Every top manager has his backroom staff that he brings with him because he trusts them.
Well, look. Let's. I want to bring up some facts and stats, and I want to talk about some individual players. I mean, look, I'm at the stage now where I've said it before. Of course, I want to win the Europa League, but do I give a shit if we don't? I genuinely don't. I'm almost kind of begrudging this manager having it because he's been. Does that make sense? I want us to, guys. Please don't get me wrong. I want us to, but I kind of begrudge that this is the guy that's going to get it when he's so bad. But look, let's have a look at some facts, shall we? Where are we? Okay. So this was before the game last night on Sky Sports, this came up. And apologies, this is a screenshot from a TV. So, I mean, when you look at this, right? Bearing in mind, again, I'll call them out. The Reezies, the Mats, this is what they praise. Not one of those stats, we're above 13th place in the league. You look at it, the best stat there is goals conceded, right? 13th, that's the best stat, right? Then the next best stat, if we go to that, so 49 goals conceded, right? Which is now, I believe, 51, right? Yeah. Home defeats, 14th. Well, that's now gone up to 8. Then, if we look at clean sheets at home, clean sheets at our own stadium, 2, right? Then let's look at expected goals against. We are 17th. I believe only the bottom 3 have worse. Points versus the top 6. Only the bottom 3 has worse, right? Defeats, only the bottom 3 has worse, and that is now 18. Away defeats, 18. And then you can see there, currently 16th. The lowest ever Premier League finish is 15th in 93-94, right? And then at the bottom, it said averaging the second fewest Premier League points per game in the club history. After last night's defeat, that's now gone to the lowest, by the way. After last night's defeat, this has now gone to the lowest. Guys, I can bring this up at any point. That was before we lost last night. Add that to Luba. I'm sure you heard me talking about only 11 teams in Europe's top 5 leagues have lost less games. Yeah. Add all that together, Lubo. That is absolutely... I want to find a word that's worse than diabolical or shambolic. It's just horrendous, Lubo, isn't it?
Well, we've now played 16 games against the top half teams for 8 points. So that's 8 out of 48. 2 wins, 2 draws, and 12 defeats. So, but my point, Sav, is that you may as well repeat this conversation with obviously little bits to do with the Europa dotted in, but it's going to be much the same show after all the other games between now and the end of the season. Just rinse and repeat. Nothing changes. Now, if you've got a car salesman who you know is going to go for 5 big deals in the next 5 weeks and he's going to screw up every one, are you going to sit there and do nothing and say, carry on messing up the deal? Because my point is that we say the same thing about Ange. Ange hasn't changed. We all knew, we said on your show yesterday, didn't we, that he will not revert back to the pragmatic style of football that we saw last Thursday, and he would carry on playing his way last night.
Got to be a troll.
How can you not?
Got to be.
There we go. What's going on with this thing?
Got to be. This is the problem. Look at these Ange fans. Cherry-picked negative stats. Can somebody give me a cherry-picked positive stat? I'll tell you what, Reezy. Give me 3 cherry-picked positive stats for the season. Sorry, Lubo.
So for me, you wouldn't sit there, Sab, knowing that you had someone who was going to lose deal after deal, would you? You'd say, hey, hang on a second. He's gone. He's gone. So for me, we all know how Ange plays. He said he's not going to change. Occasionally, when it suits him, and he was fighting for his job last week, so he really had no choice to play the way he did. And the way, Frankfurt were always going to be on the front foot because they're chasing the win at home as well with the fans behind them. So for me, we know what's going to happen. I said on this show last week, was it, or the week before, prepare yourself for 23 defeats and anything less will be a bonus.
Yeah.
So, and you look at yesterday was a perfect case in point. Perfect case in point. First 15 minutes, we come out, we're slow, we're 2 goals down. We're 2 goals down.
Yep.
They got okay. Next 75 minutes, We pressed, we had plenty of the ball, we created shots, we had 4 blocked, we had 6 on target. I heard Nuno in his after-match interview say that he wasn't happy with the first half because he said we allowed the wingers to get down the outside and get too many balls across. He said I thought second half was much better, and we came away with the points. And that's right. As you break it down, I'm paying more than that. and this is typical. This is what you've got. This is what you've got week after week after week. He shouldn't be anywhere near this club. He shouldn't be anywhere near this club. And so he's not going to go to Levy and say, I need a defensive coach. Because he wouldn't even think of that. He's so intransigent. He's so full of himself, and his way is going to work. And the way he probably thinks is that if I have another transfer window in the summer and go into year 3, I will improve this team and we'll get back. We'll start going up the table. This is how he thinks. He's just deluded. He hasn't changed. And the more the results have gone downhill, he's just carried on the same way. So,
I'll tell you what, Lubo, before we start talking about the players in the game, itself, let's just have a look at a few stats. And these have been flying around a few people. I think these ones were the ones posted in the end by Johnny last night. Now, please bear in mind, people, please be patient with me here, because Spurs have been that shit that there are 3 pages of this crap. There are 3 pages of this, all right? So just to shut up idiots like Matt and Reezy, I'll call them idiots. I don't care if you're offended. I'm past caring. I'll offend anyone at this point. This is your manager. These are the cherry-picked stats, these, by the way, the 2 marks and the cherry-picked. Ready?
Yep.
So, hang on, where's the beginning one? Here we go. 35 defeats since November the 5th, 2023, and our 10-game unbeaten run. 22 defeats in all competitions this season. Shocking, isn't it? Most home games conceded first in a calendar year. That was in 2024. We went 1-0 down in 15 home games during the 24 calendar year. The most ever, by the way, a Premier League team. Not Spurs, the most ever by a Premier League team in a single year. Think of all the crap that's got relegated from the Premier League. We've got that record. Worst home winless run since 2008. We went 5 straight home matches without a win in the Premier League. Our longest winless run at home. A year that also saw us pick up the lowest Premier League points total of 52 in a calendar year. 3 North London derbies lost in a row for the first time since 1989. 36 years. But it's happened under Ange and it's been accepted by so many of you. Our worst points tally at this stage of a season since 2009. Bearing in mind, in 2009, we had to sack a manager because of the god-awful start he made to the season, and Harry had to come in and rescue us, if anyone remembers. So it's slightly skewed, that stat.
2 points in 8 games, wasn't it?
2 in 8.
right. Correct.
0-0 with a part-time side 96 places below us in 90 minutes. So we're talking about Tamworth. All right? We've now lost 6 games pre-international break periods. Wolves, Fulham, Newcastle, Brighton, Ipswich and Fulham again. We have faced more shots in 2025 than any other team in the league. Now, let that sink in, guys. This is a league that has Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton. 3 teams that have won 10 league games between them, right? In 99 league games. They've played 33. 99 league games. They've won 10, but we've had more shots against us than them, right? Our only home wins in 2025 have been Southampton, who are relegated, and Man United, who are awful. We now have lost the most home games in their history, 8 in a standard 38-game season. 8 with 2 home games left to go, I hasten to add. We are currently on track to lose 20 games in a single season, the most ever recorded in a 38-game season. I must add that bit.
Yeah.
Right? I've missed one somewhere. Oh, I'm missing one somewhere. Apologies, guys. But guys, the state of this football club right now is utterly putrid. Would that be a fair word? Is it putrid? Turgid?
It's a very good word. Very good word to use how we're at the moment. And you got fans like Reezy and the other trolls in here trying to say, but we played well. What, passing it 3 to 4 yards across your back line back to your keeper and then recycle the same passes again? That's not playing well. Unless you're getting shots on goal, clear-cut chances and putting it in the net to win, you're not playing well, are you? I don't know what people think anymore. I'm sat here as a fan, pissed off. We pay the most for everything: shirts, tickets, even for a hot dog at the stadium. It's ridiculous. And yet we're given the same product week in, week out for the last, not just 2 years, but 25 years with Levy. The last 2 years have been the worst.
Let me ask the two marks here. I mean, guys, the worrying thing when you look at all of those stats I presented this morning, there's about 30 different sets of stats. It's not that we're just bad in one aspect. We're bad at everything. Home form, shit. Away form, shit. Right? Shots faced, shit. Clean sheets, shit. Everything is utterly diabolical. How is there a single Spurs fan Ange in? How is everybody at this stage not like Lubo said, he went last night and he didn't hear a single, no one is asking for Ange out. There's no Ange out songs. Can you imagine if this was Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, City? Look at Man United.
Ten Hag
out. What is going on? I'm so annoyed.
We've only had 2,000 people for the last two protests. Why? We have a chairman who's sitting there on his backside watching this match after match, month after month, half season after half season. Why? How can as a chairman, how can he allow this to go on? And we're going to have this conversation for most of the rest of the season, because we'll lose most of the games that we've got left.
Yeah.
I've just got to say, I just want to answer Matt, if I may, Sav.
Yeah, go for it. He's starting to annoy me. I'll be honest. The funny banter bit has gone now.
Matt,
the funny banter bit is gone.
Matt, the fans, I'm behind the team. I'm Levy out, Ange out, Munn out. I think the whole thing's a complete shit show. I think that Levy's been shielded by various members of staff and players, and it's all gone now. And we're now seeing where we are. We're now seeing a chairman who is horrendous footballing wise. And this is a football club, remember. This isn't Santander, as I mentioned on a show with Sean Butler. This is football. This is Tottenham Hotspur. So when you look at it, why are only 2,000 fans turning up at a protest when you could have quite easily another 10 out of another 50 that are going there? So if you're happy with defeat after defeat after defeat, then fine. But if you're not, if you are a proper supporter of your team, you should be looking at this and thinking, Jesus, this is getting worse and worse and worse. And if we didn't have 3 teams that were this bad, we'd be in relegation trouble. Now, when I said a couple of months ago, if he carries on into next year, we will be in relegation trouble, I think everybody now is coming round to my way of thinking. We will be in serious shit. I don't care whether the 3 teams that are coming up strengthen to the level that they should do or are able to do. We will be in trouble because this is poor. And when you look at last night was a typical case. Last night was a typical case in point. I've seen Spurs play a lot worse during the season and lose as well. But you can't you can't come out the blocks like we did and give teams a 2-goal start and then expect to get back in this division. However much, and we had plenty of the possession, we had plenty of shots, they were hardly in our box. They were hardly in our box and they still came away with a win. Now this shows you
Didn't need to do a lot, did they, Lubo? They didn't need to do. Let's be fair, that was an easy game for Forest. Sit in, defend.
I don't know. I think, for me, a draw would have been a fair result. I thought a draw would have been a fair result.
I don't at all. We can't finish our dinner, and we're terrible at the back. They finished their dinner, and they're bloody excellent at the back.
I thought Sells played very well last night, didn't he? When he had to.
He's a top keeper.
But that's what he's paid to do. We can't.
Of course. But But Sav, not every keeper gets every single effort on goal, do they? Otherwise it'd be 0-0 every week.
Yeah, sure, but
he did his job. He played well.
Game plan. They've got a game plan, Lubo. They executed it. We don't have a game plan. What we do, and this is where me and you always differ. When you say we've played well, I think we're a chaotic mess. That for me isn't playing well. We're 2-0 down. Okay. Then it's shit. We better start attacking. That's not playing well.
No. Wait a minute. Everything's
panic.
Everything's relative. We don't have a system. You're playing well within a non-system. If we had a system, we'd be a lot better.
Sure, but that's why we don't play well. We don't have a system.
But
we don't have a manager with a system.
I'm sure Forest didn't set up to let us have 22 shots. No team does. Do they?
But Lubo, this is. I feel like no one watches Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest all season have literally no possession in games of football. They don't care. Nottingham Forest do not care. They are so well drilled at the back that we put in 48 crosses, right? Forest
51,
won't care.
Actually, 51.
51. We put in 51 crosses. And how many of them did Milenkovic and Murillo just go, see you later?
98% of them.
Right? Yeah. They would be laughing. This is the difference. Tottenham, we did that once this season. And I think if we're honest, we did it once. And that was against, maybe twice. We did it against Man City and Brentford, I would say, where loads of crosses came in and we headed away. Forest do this weekly. This Forest team is so well drilled. And again, two centre-backs that want to defend.
No, they were superb. The two centre-backs.
Superb at it.
Again, their whole system revolves around those two centre-backs, doesn't it? You take them out the team for 3 months, it'll be a different cup of tea because they are that good.
But they've had games where Murillo's not played and whoever's come in has just slotted alongside Milenkovic and they defend. When you've got a system that works, you can bring in a weaker player.
So fans have become too used to losing. This is the problem.
Agreed.
See. The difference is Nuno has gone in there. He's seen what cards he's got, and he's playing with the cards he's got.
Sorry, Dad. Yeah.
He's not ready putting Son on the wing that was never a winger in the first place and never will be. He's not putting Johnson on the other wing that was never a winger and never will be. Nuno is playing with the cards that he's been dealt with. And he's got a successful system. I bet if Nottingham Forest had a lot of attacking players, he'd play completely differently. This is the thing with a half-sensible manager. They play with the cards that they've already got.
Yeah.
And then they try and add to it as best they can.
If he played with the cards he's got, he'd play three at the back.
Well, of course he would.
Yeah.
We can all see that.
Let me just, Sav, can I just answer Matt's here? Spot on, Lubo. No team wants to face 20-plus shots. We played into their hands, but the stats show we're all over them. Matt, we're 2-0 down before we started playing. And why are we 2-0 down? Because we're wide open. He hasn't got the players fired up from the first minute. We've come out, we're sloppy. And they're 2-0 up before we even know it. So in 50, was it the 15th minute we were 2-0 down, was it? I think.
Yeah,
17th or something.
17th minute, was it?
Silly. I don't know. Yeah.
So Matt, you've got to play for 90 minutes. You can't play for 75. We're 2-0 down. Game's gone then. The game's finished. And unfortunately, he doesn't set them up correctly mentally. He doesn't set them up system-wise. And how many defeats, seriously, how many defeats do you want to have before you think, ooh, this isn't working? Seriously, we've lost 18 in 33. This is the worst ever. So at the end of the day, if you're happy with the worst ever record, well, I don't know. Do you actually?
Are you an Arsenal fan?
That's for your club. Seriously.
Are you an Arsenal fan?
You've got to ask that question. Do you want trophies for your team? Yeah. When you look at someone like Newcastle or Villa, okay, forget Newcastle's result Saturday was probably a one-off. They probably won't have another result like that this season. But you see the way Howe gets them set up. You see the attitude and the mentality of the whole team. Every single ball, every ball is challenged for. Every player takes it personally, and it's a personal battle. That's what football's about. Winning every single personal battle you're involved in, you've got to win it. And the team that wins the most battles invariably ends up winning the game. We don't do that. We sit back. I mean, it took forever. You know, we're wide open. The ball's come across to the left wing, and the guy's pinged it in for Wood to score. And why isn't Porro closing down? Why aren't there two players around the guy who's crossed it, forcing him back, stopping the cross and forcing the guy back? Because that's when you've got a good winger, that's what you do. You double up and you push them back so that the ball goes back, and then the other midfield player comes across and you're closing down the space again. So you force them across or you force them back.
Do you notice, Ian? Do you notice, Ian, that we did that against Frankfurt?
Yes, we
How
did.
many times did Johnson get back and Tell get back to help their fullback?
Correct.
And why? Why did he do it against Frankfurt?
Because his job was on the line.
Because his job was on the line.
On, Corey.
I have a theory on that. I really have a theory on that.
If he did it and the players didn't take it upon themselves, who says that didn't happen?
Well, I believe the players.
He hasn't done it, Sav, has he? And to do it in that game,
I think he has. It was too well organised for them to have not to have done it. But either way, his job was on the line. We played different and win. And the problem is, he knew it as well. He knew that if he won that game, he's not going anywhere because he's got too many fans in his fan base that want him. Too many that want him. I mean, guys, have a look at this. Right? Have a look at this. I mean, it's just stat after stat after stat of how shocking Tottenham Hotspur are under this fraud of a man. I don't even want to call him a manager anymore. I don't think he's a real manager. This guy looks like somebody who's won a competition to manage a club for a season.
That's what I said a few weeks ago.
He does. He looks like somebody's gone to Hackney Marshes, right, and seen Dave, who's managing the Dog and Duck, and gone, Dave, you look like you could be a good manager. Come on, come in. Because I have never seen a manager set up a team so bad. So bad. And then you've got fans. This is what these fans that say stuff, silly people like Matt that say stuff like, we were all over them. It's okay to be all over a team when you're 2-0 down and chasing them. Why weren't we all over them before they went 2-0 up?
That was the norm when Pochettino was here.
Exactly. Yeah. And Harry. We win at teams.
And Martin Yole.
The old-fashioned way is hunting packs, isn't it? Hunting packs of 2s and 3s. When you lose possession of the ball, you go 3 at a time to try and get the ball back, break it down. We've got no destroyers in the midfield. Bentancur before his injury was that, and now he's not. He pulls out of challenges. So a lot of what Bentancur used to be, he isn't anymore. So we haven't got a destroyer in midfield. Our only creative midfielder, Maddison, can't get in the team consistently because there's a dispute between him and Ange. You've got players like I've never rated Sarr anyway. You've got players like Sarr that is just an athlete, not a footballer. So I just can't get my head around this team, the fans, this tactics, this manager. Like Sab said, he looks like he's won a competition. I said he was out of work back in Australia a few decades back and was like, yeah, football manager, I'll give that a try. You know, he was probably a failed cricket captain or manager or something like that and taught football.
So one comment in the one comment from Bossman 1106. This Lubo geezer seems very optimistic with the current situation. Let me tell you how optimistic I am, Bossman. For as long as if Levy outlives me, I will probably never see another trophy at this club. That's how optimistic I am. Let that sink in.
I think you will this season. I think you're going to see Europa.
I have not a chance. We go out there against Bilbao. I don't think we've got a chance.
I think he's going to shithouse his way to it. I do. I can't stand him, but I think listen, we'll get to that a bit later, but I want to show you a few more things, guys, because it's funny. I'm at the stage where it is very funny, the shit we're seeing. Hang on, let me just delete. Tell you what, I'll delete this one of Daniel. I'll delete Daniel Levy. Picture of Daniel Levy with Lubo.
Just give us one
Another one of Perchy's specials.
I've got Perchy. Perchy sends me stuff. No more Perchy. Don't send me any more because it means I have to email myself, upload them. Right. So let's have a look, shall we? We got all those stats from before. This was interesting. Actually, no, I'm going to come to this one a bit later. I'll come to this one a bit later. Where was it? We've got West Ham. This is how bad we are, people. We've got West Ham accounts, bearing in mind they're 1 point below us, literally talking about how bad they are, but we're not as bad as Tottenham. Let that sink in. We're 17th, so can't say much, to be honest. But Spurs losing 18 games already this season is just diabolical. Postecoglou has to be up there with the worst ever Premier League managers. And guys, if Ange Postecoglou managed anybody else, if Ange Postecoglou managed anybody else, they'd be relegated. If he managed anyone that wasn't a traditional Big Six team, he'd have them relegated by now. If he managed
he would have been sacked.
He would have been sacked, but you know what I mean. If he had been given this many games, they'd be sacked. And our fans just go, but we're in a semi. I hate to break it to people, right? I hate to break it to people, but I've seen loads of semi-finals. Why is everyone wetting their pants about semi-finals? We've been in many. This isn't new. We're Tottenham.
New for Tottenham.
We're not Millwall.
We've been in one already this season. Look what happened there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We've
Went
lost
1-0 up and got battered 4-0.
Corey, I think we've lost eight FA Cup semi-finals, I think, since we beat Arsenal with a Gaza goal.
Yep.
In 91. I think it's 8 we've lost.
I was 6 years old when we won that FA Cup.
So was I.
I was there.
Yeah,
I didn't understand what football was. I was 6.
He said 6, not 60, Mark. 6, not
No,
60.
I'll be honest. I was nearly 21.
You're sure? I was 9. I was there. I was 9. I remember. Wasn't the greatest. I went to the semi and the final. The semi was brilliant. The semi-final was brilliant because we absolutely battered Arsenal, and it was the Gascoigne free kick. The final wasn't the greatest, but hey, we won it.
Who lifted that cup, by the way? I'm just asking.
I've forgotten. I've forgotten.
No.
Who was it?
I can't remember.
Some part-time fan. Did we have him on loan? Sav, did we have him on loan that season?
Yeah, I think
Bearing in mind, I was only 1 month at hospital.
I was there when Wood scored that goal past Chelsea.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look at last night. Then let's have a look. There were a lot of talk. By the way, they're just putting Elliot Anderson's stats on Sky Sports as a midfielder. Elliot Anderson, duels 1, ranked 1st. Aerial duels 1st. Ball recoveries 2nd. Fouls 1 1st. Goals 1st. Like Elliot Anderson. Can you imagine if Spurs had signed Elliot Anderson? We'd all be going, we've got Pape Sarr. We don't need him. Anyway, we're going to look at the game, the team lineup and the players from last night, guys. Listen, he made 5 changes, which in theory I wasn't bothered about from the point of view that we knew he was going to. But again, I would have kept momentum. But guys, it was just weird. Players that needed to come in and do themselves the power of good, I don't know that they did. If we're going to be brutally honest, I don't know that they did. I thought Kulusevski was absolutely dreadful. Like really bad, really bad. Pape Sarr, we'll talk about in a minute as well. We'll go through these in a minute. Pape Sarr I thought was dreadful. Odegaard, for me, doesn't, for how much of the ball he gets, doesn't do enough. Richie, we're going to talk about him first. Richie scored the goal, and then the other one was Jed Spence, who for me, really hard to judge because they didn't really have anything. They didn't really go down the right. If we're honest, most of the game, they didn't really attack. So it was difficult. I want to start with Richie, guys. I'm going to call it now. I'm starting Richarlison every game between now and the end of the season. I'm going to call it now. Now, this isn't me saying, guys, that I think he's brilliant, because you know I don't want any of these strikers at our football club. But he is better than Dominic Solanke at everything. He is better than Dominic Solanke. And yes, he missed a chance in the first half, a header that he should have glanced into the corner. Then he had a really good header saved. Then he had a really good header that he scored. And I'm going to show you this, right? This is Glassy, whoever this is. I like that. Glassinho. Sounds like someone Spurs would sign, doesn't it?
No, he's a good lad, Slav. So I'm on Twitter with him a lot. He's a good guy.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is. I've got no problem with him. I agree with him. He said, Richarlison, 2 open play goals in 105 minutes in his last 2 games. Solanke, 1 in the last 3 months. And he said Solanke has been a piss poor signing. And then to back that up, Perchie's put a little something together, and I reckon Perchie's been using his chat GPT when he should be doing some work. You naughty boy, Perchie. Do your job. Again, I think this says it all. I worked it out this morning myself. I believe it was something like 36% goal ratio in the Premier League for Richarlison, 29% for Solanke. When you look at that, goal involvements per 90. And guys, I don't know if anyone is shocked by this, but this is exactly what the stats told us about Solanke versus Richie when we bought Solanke. I know a lot of people were going, oh, but Richie is god-awful. He's terrible. He is. But Solanke is worse. Discuss.
I didn't want him when we first were linked with him. There are other strikers out there, and we went for a guy that's had 19 goals in how many years being a professional? 1 good season in 10 years since turning professional. There's a reason why Liverpool and Chelsea shipped this guy out.
I've got to tell you something. Richarlison last year scored 14 in 19 games, I think it was.
Yeah.
Now, those stats are they're not shabby stats, are they?
Not shabby, no, but...
No, they're not. Let's have a look. Richarlison.
I think it was 14 that he scored. Might have been 13, but I know he scored 11 in 12 in one run.
Well, let's face it, right? Well, if you look now, we've got Solanke and the Pigeon. You go back less than 20 years, the strikers we've had at this club is chalk and cheese. When you look at Defoe, Klinsmann, Sheringham, the list goes on. Berbatov, Keane.
No, I know, but Mark.
I know, but it's shocking.
We're miles off that, Mark.
I know we are.
Don't forget, last week in here, I had how many people in my chat trying to convince me that Dominic Solanke is better than Jermaine Defoe. That's when you...
Who said that?
Lubo, you were in here, weren't you?
Yeah, I was in here. Yeah,
there was 5-6 people in the chat going, yeah, but Defoe, and I was like,
I was
there watching? Well, yeah. But again, guys, my point to bringing this up is, I don't rate Richarlison. Please don't think I want Richarlison. But
I don't rate either of them.
At least Richarlison, for me, gets in the positions. Richarlison, for me, all of these crosses that are coming in, Solanke's nowhere near them. Richarlison's actually getting his head on them. I'm baffled how Solanke's our number 1 striker. It must purely be because of the money that's been spent on him in the recent transfer window.
Listen, we're gonna concede plenty of goals because of the system we play. But if you push Porro up front on the right and let him ping balls in for Richarlison, he's going to score goals with his head. You're going to get that.
All right, then my option here is you drop that fraud Johnson. He's only there because his dad's half decent back in the day. You put, I sound so bad when I say this, you put Porro where Johnson is, and then you put Spence at right back.
Correct.
That.
Right. Yeah.
Johnson, for me, what a waste. Slanky, what a waste. The
Or
only
you
reason why
play
they were
wing back.
brought in,
Or you play
wing
wing
back,
backs and drop all of the shit wingers that we've got. Like, put Porro as a right wing back in a 3-4-3 and let him whip crosses in all day long to Richarlison. That is
Well,
what
to be
I would
honest,
do.
well, I'll be honest with you. Porro and Udogie were brought in for Conte as wing backs.
Yep.
That was their job to get up and down.
Yeah, but
Their
their
job was to get up and down.
the line, not cut inside and get into the midfield and cut to that midfield up.
Oh, fuck off. Fuck off.
Oh, wow, he scored one penalty to put us through.
Oh, my God. Matt, every statistic, Richarlison is better in his career than Solanke. This isn't reactionary. I did a video on this.
Richarlison has more goals.
One more stupid comment, Matt, and you're gone. One more and you're gone. One more and you're gone.
So he's winding you up.
One more and he's gone. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous now. But I mean, Phil Coyes, you're saying Porro is not a right winger. He's not a right back either.
No, he's a wing back.
And what's his strength? His strength is his crossing. Why would you not want? To be fair, I would expect you to not want Porro in his best position, but our fans just say crazy shit all the time. 3-4-3. 3-4-3. I don't care. Vicario in goal. I don't care. Romero, we'll talk about him in a minute. Van der Ven, Danso, Dragoshin, Porro this side, Udogie that side, two centre mids, Kulu and Maddison, Richie or a better striker up top. And let Porro and Udogie go that way. They don't this way. Wing backs or in a 3-4-3 where they're wide men.
Well, I'll be honest, Sav, that is what they were signed for. They were signed for Conte as wing backs.
That's right.
I know.
Elijah.
I know.
Big up, Elijah.
Can I just ask Matt? Just a very simple question, Matt. You know what our thoughts are on it, but Matt, could you just explain to us what you are seeing on the pitch that makes you so happy? Because
actually come on the
it's beyond all of us now, Matt. If you are a troll or bot, whatever you are, good luck to you. But if you're not, please tell us in the chat what you are seeing over the last 18 months that makes you think this is what you want to see week in, week out. 16th in the league, yeah. We're in a Europa semi, yeah. But a manager is judged on his league format, not winning one-off games. We're bloody 16th, mate. It's shocking. Absolutely shocking. And you have to look at, not just what's going on now, where we are now, what's happened in the last 18 months, the drivel, the shit that we've been watching. When are you going to get it? It's either that or, mate, you just don't know when you're watching football. Sorry to be so blatant, but
no, I think he's watching it,
Matt. I don't get it, mate. Sorry.
He's watching it with rose-tinted glasses on. That's what he's doing. All these fans at the moment are watching it with rose-tinted glasses on. I took mine off 24 months ago when this knob come in. I said 24 months ago, this manager's going to make us look shit. What about the first 10 games, Korski? Well, the first 10 games are an anomaly. We nearly lost to Sheffield. Come on.
Listen,
did you see Ellie's comment, Sav? Is Matt just Savva's wife helping to drive views?
My wife has got better things to be doing than watching this shit. Look, this was the sort of thing I wanted to see. Forget. Again, I always put this up, guys. Right? I always put this up. Forget personnel. Right? This is the formation Tottenham Hotspur should be playing to get the best out of everyone at the club. Forget personnel. This was done in July, right? I put this up in July. A back three, a four where Porro can go and be as offensive as he wants up on that right wing and get crosses in. Udogie can run at them, and that way, swap Son for Kulu. You can get Maddison and Kulu both in the team, both not having to play out wide and both not having to drop back into the number 8 role, right? Both feeding balls through to whether it be a Solanke or a Charlison. So again, forget the personnel, but this is what I would do. This is what many people would do. And yet this manager won't. But I'll ask you guys, Solanke or Charlison till the end of the season, who are you having up front?
Richie,
definitely.
Yeah, Richie.
I said that the other day, you put Richie in. Do you know why? Because the other thing also, I remember we went to Anfield last season and Richie had just come back after injury. I think he missed about 6-8 matches. And he put himself about. He came on at 4-0 down, put himself about, scored one, helped create a second. And we could have got more. I mean, listen, we were well beaten over the 90 minutes. But when he came on, he made a difference. The game had gone. I know that you're 4 down, the game's finished. But he made a difference and he puts himself about and he scores goals. He scores. You know, you look at his record. I mean, I'll try and find his record for Spurs because I think it's in. Oh, let me have a look.
By the way, just quickly, Martin Walton.
This is Glasner's system. He is the only one out. He's the only one out of the managers that we've looked at who does the back three properly. And so for me, Glasner is the one that we should be bringing in because he's got the players there already. We don't need wholesale changes. A manager who comes in, plays 4 at the back. Or I don't need Porro. I don't need Udoga. I don't need this. Listen, we got enough. We've got enough players to get rid of without actually adding to it. So for me, you bring Glasner
Kieran,
in
yes.
without a doubt.
Kieran, yes. But do you know what's worse, Kieran? Is that we've had to buy a £60 million striker, right? To work out that he's not even as good as Richarlison. Let that sink in, Kieran. When everyone was saying in the summer, our priorities are centre forward, we've managed to go and get one worse than the one we didn't even want. So now what we've got is 2. We've now got 2 of them. And you know what that means, guys? It now means, what's the chance of us going out and getting another centre forward?
0.
Richie's Spurs career is 20 goals in 83 games. 1 in 4.
So he's 1 in 4.
Yeah. And Solanke is 11 in 38.
It's all right, though, because we've got Johnson coming in at the back.
I'd like to know the minutes on that, though, Lubo.
Yeah.
Because most of those games from Richarlison are going to be coming off the bench when he was deputising for Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But look, for me, can I be honest, guys? The fact that we are in 2025 and the strikers that we've seen between us, right? The fact that we're sitting here in 2025 talking about who should start up front at Anfield. Is it Dominic Solanke or Richarlison? And then you look at the strikers behind them. No offence, Will Lancashire is nowhere near it, right? I watched him play the other day for West Brom. He is nowhere near it, right? Valise is awful, right? Scarlett, nowhere near it. This is what we've accumulated, guys. That's our 5. Am I missing anyone? That's our 5 strikers at Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah.
Solanke, Richie, Valise, Lancashire, and Scarlett. That's the 5 we've accumulated.
Well, 3 of them are still at school.
This stadium.
You know,
and then we've got something like 7 goalkeepers as well. So
I know.
we've got the accumulation of top trumps of shit goalkeepers behind Vicario, and I'm going to say this: Keeley isn't a quality keeper and should be given his place. We didn't need to go out and sign another goalkeeper, but we did.
We'll get to the goalkeepers in a minute. But look, okay, that was Rich who came in last night. Can we have a chat about Pape Sarr? Guys, our fans did what they normally do about 3 or 4 years. Was it 4 years ago we signed him?
It feels like he's
As a
been here
kid
longer.
About 4.
About
3 or
4. Was
4.
it Mets we signed him from? Was it Mets?
Yeah, and then we sent it back on loan to Mets, didn't we?
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So Pape Sarr, I remember 4 years ago, it was, oh my God, this is Sarr Toure. This is the new Vieira. Another one, guys. We're 4 years into Pape Sarr being here now. I don't know. I'll throw this out. You lot discuss it. I still don't know what he is. I still don't know what he does. And for me, he is not good enough for Tottenham Hotspur.
No. I'll be honest with you. I don't think you can judge any player in the chaotic system that we play. You know,
but we've seen him. He's been here 4 years. We've seen him in other systems where what does he like? I've said this for 4 years, Mark. Like, I don't think he did anything before Ange either. Everyone was going.
He's still very young. That's correct. He's not very old now, is he? Is he maybe 23, 22? You know, as an 18-year-old, unless you're a real special 18-year-old, you're not going to come in and set the world on fire, are you? You know, so
Adam Wharton, for example.
Yeah. I get that. But like, he's still, you know, I mean, some players develop later than others, don't they? I mean, all the youngsters are not going to come in like Wayne Rooney, are they? Set the world on fire at 16-year-old. They're not.
Sure. Of course.
You know, so I think it's harsh to judge our players. Well, especially Sarr, when he was 17, 18 when he rocked up here. You know, and especially now in this chaotic non-system that we got.
Yeah, but
you know?
Hang on, Mark. Hang on. Sorry. I think one of the key things, though, I feel like we use this excuse for every player. Like, it's not even... For example, I look at Bergvall in this chaotic system and I go, you're a player. Right?
Yeah.
I don't... You know me, guys. Lubo, you know me. I don't go overboard, but I look at Bergvall and I go, there's something about you, right? If developed, you are going to be special. A very good Premier League European midfielder. I'm watching Sarr going, forget the system. I'm just watching him as a footballer and going, what's he good at? Not got a good pass. He's not skillful. He's not composed on the ball. What's he good at, Mark? Forget whether he's been coached up. What's he good at?
I don't think he's not going to be a world beater, is he? But I think in the right system, he can do a job. He's definitely not going to be a world beater, is he? I mean, we can all see that. I mean, Bergvall, you can see he's got something about him, and he does know how to play football.
Just look at his footwork, Bergvall.
Sarr, I think, in the right system, you will get a job out of him. You know what I mean? He's not going to be a Vieira. He's not going to be an outstanding footballer. You know, but I think in the correct system, or in a system, any system, where he knows his job, he will do a job.
Okay, but at what? I'm asking, at what? I don't think he's a 6. I don't think he's good enough on the ball to be an 8, and he's not creative to be a 10. What is he?
He's definitely
where
not
does
a 10.
he fit in?
Well, the thing is that he just runs about like a headless chicken at the moment. So
normally players in their 20s, from the age of 22 to like 26, 28, that's when they're supposed to be finding themselves properly as well.
You can't say that because Ian Wright never come in till he was about late 20s.
Yeah, I know, but some of those late bloomers are that. They're late bloomers. Sarr is not going to develop at us. He's not going to develop unless he's playing week in, week out. Coached right. Like a lot of people said, to see if the player is a baller, you need to watch his footwork and where he's putting the ball properly, where his vision's at.
I've never said he was going to be a baller, but he will do a job. I mean, he will do a job.
In a better
system, my opinion.
In a better system, maybe, but I can't see anything there for Sarr. I feel like we signed him off the back of a YouTube video again, like we did with that end on burgers.
I've never seen anything in him. I've never ever watched the game and gone, yeah. Like when Adam Wharton, I use him as an example, just as young midfielders. When Adam Wharton signed for Palace, in his first few games, I went, yeah, look at the boy. That's a natural player like that. Yeah, good player. Declan Rice, when he came through at West Ham, you could tell straight away, couldn't you? Yeah, player. Look at Lewis Skelly at Arsenal, who's actually a midfielder playing in left back. You go, yeah, player. You got something about you. This is now 4 years of Pape Sarr where no manager has made him the first choice. That's got to be a concern, right? That no manager has. And the fact that Spurs had Pape Sarr, still went out and bought Bergvall, still went out and bought Gray. So clearly the club don't think that he is good enough. I don't know, guys. I just he's another one. I'm just like, meh.
Sav, I think Mark Taylor got it spot on in his comments a few minutes ago. He's an athlete, not a footballer.
I said that as well, yeah.
Here we are.
He can run, but he's
an
not
athlete. You'll get situations where he will make that run, ping that ball across on the run. I think Maddison scored at Villa last year, but they're few and far between. And for me, as I said to you when I came on very briefly before the game yesterday, Sav, that was just a waste of a selection for me. That was pointless.
I completely agree. That should have definitely been Basuma, shouldn't it?
I feel sorry for Basuma here. Come on, guys.
I know what you want. Might as well have Stanley in centre mid running round. Might as well have Stanley running round. Look, might as well have this little fucker. Guys, Mark Cookie, sorry. Stanley's just woken up from a nap. Mark, Sarr, he can't get in our midfield. He's been bypassed by Bergvall. What's the future for a player like Pape Sarr at Tottenham?
Well, I think he'll just end up being a squad player, Sav, won't he? You know, we don't know what's going to happen in the summer, but I can't see Levy selling a young player unless it's for a massive profit, and he's not at that stage. If he ever gets to that stage in his career, for me, he's a runner, like Ian said. He's an athlete. He gets around the pitch, yeah, fine, but. Again, we're talking earlier about end product, not just in goals, but passes, finding their man, and he does give the ball away an awful lot.
Not just passing the ball, breaking down play on the opposition as well. Yeah. He's just never there for a tackle, is he? Like I said, Bentancur, before his injury, he was our destroyer. That's why. Before Bentancur got injured, he was that guy that would go in for a tackle and track back and make a tackle, and but since his injury, we've lost that edginess of Bentancur. So now we have to rely on Sarr to be this replacement, and he's just not that great. He runs around. All he's got is bags of energy. That's all he's got. That's what most footballers have got nowadays. All they do is run around and hope they score. You go back 10, 15 years ago, man. The player quality between now and 10, 15 years ago is night and day, really, isn't it? We had Messi, we had Ronaldo, we had players like Roy Keane, Robbie Keane, players like Gerrard, Lampard, Scholes, Carrick. They were players. I look at midfielders now and I'm like, especially our midfield, like, someone just find a fucking pass. Bergvall, quality young player. Look at his footwork. Look at his vision. He's always looking to get rid of the ball. He's learning from Maddison. But I'd say put Bergvall and Maddison in that 3-4-2-1. Bergvall and Maddison next to each other. You just see the creativity come out of Bergvall then if you put him as an attacking midfielder, not a central midfielder. There's something about that kid that says to me he's special. But when I look at other players that we've got, especially Sarr, he was signed off the back of a lot of hype. And what did we do the last time with another player we signed off the back of a lot of hype? Ndombele. Again, another player that we signed off with a lot of hype. Sarr was a lot of hype at a young age because he was playing in France.
Well, let's move on to the next player. Because talking about possibly signing players off a lot of hype, I think we need to have this conversation about Matisse Tell. I really, really do. And I don't want to hear anyone give the nonsense that he's 19. Spurs decided that was our transfer deadline day signing. Fans got excited. No one was saying he's only 19 at the time. They were all saying, oh, Tell, blah, blah, blah. He fixes Spurs forward line. Guys, I'm going to be honest. I don't see anything in this guy at all. He tries. I'll give him that. But I'm not going to lie to you. On 85 grand a week, guys, I might try as well. You know what I mean? I don't know.
You won't get out of bed for 85 grand 85 grand a week? You won't get out of bed for that, would you, Sav? You won't get out of bed for that sort of money, would you?
85 grand a week. I might even shower in the morning as well. Do you know what I mean? I'll have a shower and get out of bed. Guys, on a serious note, listen, I'm all for I'm all for developing young players, but this is a guy we brought in with a £10 million loan fee. And normally, guys, when clubs go and get loan players, it's to help them right now, right? Look at, again, sorry to be Aston Villa, the prime example, right? They've gone out and bought in 4 loan players, if I'm not wrong. Am I wrong? Asensio, Disassi, Rashford. They might have bought Donny Marlon, but they definitely got the other 3 on loan. Someone let me know if Marlon was on loan or bought.
I tell you what,
all 3 went straight into the first team squad and have contributed in big games. Yeah. All 3 going. We've bought in Tell, who for me just doesn't. I don't know. Like, I keep hearing that. Oh, he was good today. He's not taking men on. He's trying and he can't. He's digging out the odd good cross, which fair enough. But for me, he can't finish. We saw that yesterday. I'm really disappointed again. What are we thinking about Tell? Without using the 19, without using that he's only 19. That's not my problem.
I could hit this off the bat straight away. I didn't rate him when Bayern Munich got him. He was another player off of the back of a lot of hype. That's why Bayern got him. Then Bayern have sussed him out the last 2 years they've had him. He's not that great. Like the thing is, you can't take on a player. You want your winger to take on a player and excite you, you know? Take that player on, run at him. You don't keep running at him to lose the ball. 9 times out of 10, you should be able to beat that wing back or that defender, you know? You just can't do it.
The first thing you got to look with Tell is where he came from and why he's here. He is here to help with the Harry Kane thing. They still owe us a lot of money for Harry Kane. We got him in 10 million. That's one payment or something that they ain't got to give us. You know what I mean? Because they're not paying. They never give us 100 million in one go.
No, transfers never done fully up front.
No, of course it isn't. And so he is here to. I don't know how the deal was structured, how many payments they got to give us. But let's face it, that 10 million is just being knocked off of what they owe us for Harry Kane. That is why he's here. Plus he's young, which is the alleged route we're going down. And so that is why he is here. You made a brilliant point about the players Aston Villa have signed. They come in and improve them immediately. We don't do that. Whenever we get players in, it's they might be good in a couple of years. You know, it's not one for the here and now, is it? Ever. Oh, you're on mute, Lubo.
Every transfer is an opportunity. This is how Levy works.
Yeah.
They're all opportunities. Basuma, 1 year left on his contract, 25. Madison, 1 year left on his contract, and he's been relegated. They're all deals. What's in Paratici went to Italy and got Udogi, and he got Vicario for no money. Pape Sarr he got for no money. They waited. Levy negotiated 4 weeks for Porro because I think they wanted more money up front, and Levy got them to drop the 50% sell-on fee for Marcus Edwards down to 35%. So we lost Porro. Conte, I think, lost Porro for 4 weeks, several matches through January, for the sake of a 15% drop off and the fact that he could spread the payments out. And it's just opportunities. It's nothing to do with the football side. If it was to do with the football side, he would have had. They knew Kane wanted out. They would have had a succession position lined up so that the 85 million for Kane plus whatever else was needed would have gone on a top striker. That's not how Levy works. This is not his business model. Consequently, what he ends up doing, you know the saying, cheap is expensive.
Yeah,
that's the situation. I remember buying my first car. I bought a Ford Capri Mark 1 for 475 quid. 6 months later, the engine went. It cost me 1,500 quid.
Yeah, buy bad, buy twice.
That's right, and unfortunately, that's what Levy does. So what you've ended up with is you've got Richarlison and Solanke. Listen, you're not going to get another Kane. Kane was just I probably won't see another centre forward like Kane at Spurs in my lifetime. He was, you know.
I'd take Emery. Jesus.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right, Lubo. You're right. It's the worrying thing about
the drop off is too low because he's always, you know, he'll wait. His old plan was to wait till the last week of the window because he thought he could buy deals. So we lost points in August, which affected our league position. Yeah, Rob T, you're absolutely right. Everything does come back to Levy. He runs the club and he runs the way the club operates. So yes, it comes back to him. We have got Ange. We've got Ange because Levy doesn't know anything about football. Knew Scott Munn. Scott Munn didn't know who to go out and get. He got his pal Ange in, and look at the mess we're in now. So yes, it comes back to Levy, unfortunately. And the transfer policy,
but also as well, Lubo, though, we're falling into the trap as a fan base that people want this guy signed. Now, if anyone thinks they've seen anything in him, right? Surely no one has seen anything in him that says, let's forego the money Bayern Munich owe us, and we'll have this in return. Now, the biggest issue for me, guys, I've said this to you time and time and time again, right? We're looking at Tell at the same time that we're moaning that players like Mikey Moore don't get to play.
Absolutely.
Right? You can't have both. Right? I have seen nothing from Tell. People are saying he gets it his fullback. If anyone goes onto any of the apps, SofaScore, FlashScore, whatever, and looks at the last 7 games that Tell has played, he beats his man on an average of once a game. Once a game. Now, as a fullback, old school style, guys, as a fullback, if you come off at full time and you go, yeah, he beat me once, you're bloody happy with that, ain't you? My winger got past me once in 90 minutes. Yeah, I'll take that.
Sav, I think yes and no, because you don't have to beat your fullback to do what you want to do. Perisic was perfect.
But he doesn't do anything with it.
No, yesterday he was cutting inside and laying some nice balls off. But for me, Tell was the wrong person to buy, or not buy to. You were supposed to buy. 10 million is a purchase, isn't it, at the end of the day? He was the wrong player to get. I'd be playing Mikey Moore every single time, because to me, Moore hasn't played that much. Take out Palace, they were all awful, and nobody helped Moore at all. He was stuck out on the left. Didn't touch the ball that much. Moore has done more in cameos this season than Tell has done.
Right, but this is my point. Even last night when I watched Odegaard, right, I couldn't believe Odegaard was the one that came off. Don't get me wrong. I don't think Odegaard's amazing, but when Odegaard stretches his legs, I always think, do you know what? I think he can get past his man, right? Got to work on the end ball. Got to work on all that because there's a reason we got them from where we get them from. But the reason why I'm going at Tell more is because Tell is the one that everyone was raving about in the January window. Tell is the one where people were going, "God, if we get this boy from Bayern Munich, he's special. He's a wonder kid. He's generation."
But why?
He wasn't even getting in the Bayern Munich team, so
this is going to be
3 games all season up to December. So I don't know why people were thinking he's generational. He's never going to.
I've been watching YouTube videos here.
Lubo, the problem is. This is going to be 40 to 50 million. Right now, whichever way we look at this, guys, I know people are going to go Bayern Munich owe us. Whichever way we look at this, Bayern Munich at some stage would have to get that money to us. That money would go back out on players. So it's our transfer fee. Does that make sense, right?
Yeah.
It's not free. People are going on like, oh, this is free. If 40 to 50 million of our transfer budget goes on this guy because he might be good in a few years, that is everything wrong with Tottenham. And I'll say this now. If you are a Spurs fan that wants that, please don't complain about Daniel Levy and our transfer strategy. Please do not. If that's what you want, right, you can't complain. We've already got them. You've got more coming through. You've already bought Yang. You've already bought Odegaard. You don't need
any more.
You don't need another one.
What we need is someone like Mbeumo to come in. That's what we need.
Yes.
You need the top experienced winger who knows the Premier League. Don't mess about with any more foreign wingers. Just get him in. getting
I'm not being funny. I'm not being funny here, right? But people like Tell, Archie Gray, sorry, Lubo, and Bergval, they should have been brought into the team as well as established first team players. And so
Absolutely.
your Archie Grays, your Bergvals, your Tells, people like that, you can have a look at them, nurture them, drip feed them into the team to see if they're going to fit. You know, you don't spend a whole transfer window just bringing in ones for people for the future. You don't.
No,
Because
I've been saying that for months.
Yeah, but because you're not getting better immediately. You're not getting better in the short term. Yes, you might do, but it's a risk. Because let's face it, we don't know Archie Gray. We don't know Bergval. Yes, we've liked the look of what we've seen. They're all right at the moment, but they're not the finished article. They're not the finished article. Far from it.
I'll tell you, Mark, Bergval is our best. If you're looking at take out Madison and Kulu, you've got Sarr, Basuma, Bentancur. I'm sorry, Bergval for me has been better than them this season.
Oh yes, I agree with you.
18-year-old kid in his first season playing in this chaos, and he runs all over the place. Everybody says it's chaotic running a lot of the time. And like Pep said to Spence after the game, why do you guys run so much? It's chaos. It's chaos. But Bergval has shown enough. He is better already, in my opinion, than Bentancur, Basuma, and Sarr.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you.
He should be the first name on that team sheet.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Let me ask you guys. If I turn around and said, right, 40, 50 million, go out there and find me a 19-year-old wide man across the whole of European football for 30, 40 million. Are you telling me that we couldn't all go out and find someone from the French league, Spanish league, German league?
You got to build out, wouldn't you? You got to build out to start with.
Does he have to be 19 years old?
Hang on. Let me bloody finish my sentence. A question. You telling me we couldn't find anyone at half the price as talented that you could nurture, if that's really what you want to do? Like,
I know a player right off the top of my head.
Lazy. Tell 50 million, yeah, that'll do. What are we doing? We could fly around the world for the next month, watching games in Germany, France, Romania, anywhere, and we would go, that winger's got something about him. He's 19. Get him into the youth team at Spurs. But no, Spurs, 50 million for Tell because he's from Bayern Munich.
He won't come.
Lazy scouting.
So I think there is listen. It's all to do with the business model. That's what it's all to do with. If Bayern Munich didn't owe us money for Harry Kane, Tell would not be at Spurs.
Exactly.
I agree.
So for me, this is nothing to do with scouting or not scouting. This is purely the people at the top, the money people have said this is a financial transaction. This is nothing to do with footballing ability. It's all to do with the money that's owed. So yes, it is lazy, for sure. Of course, it's lazy. It's worse than lazy. It's neglectful. But our football side has been neglected now for 24 years. So what's different? Nothing's different. Nothing changes. You know, Liverpool, I'll take Arsenal. We talk about we've spent 47.5 on Johnson. We've spent 57 on Solanke. That's 105 million. That's what Arsenal spent on Declan Rice.
Mm. Yeah, and look at the difference. Look at the level. Look at the level. The last one I want to talk about, guys, before we wrap up the show, and this player's got to be talked about. He's
Romero.
Got to be talked about, right? He's come out and done an interview where he said, we're in the Europa League semi-finals. I want to finish the season on a high note. After that, we'll see. A league I would like to play in would be Spain, to compete in all the major leagues. Now, guys, you all know my opinion on Romero. I think he's the most overrated centre-back I've seen. I know loads of you seem to think he's absolutely brilliant. Again, yesterday, reckless, nothing to do with Ange. for me. This reckless, runs into midfield, clatters people, lucky not to be sent off, you could say, yesterday with some of his tackles. Are we better off without this guy? Because I was told when he came back, everything would be fixed in our defence, and everything's just as shit. So what are we saying?
When a player's, well, listen, he's played 22 out of 52 games this season. That's point one.
Yeah.
Secondly, this year he has been inconsistent. And what's frustrating is that, for me, I think he's a cracking player. He doesn't want to be at the club. You don't want to be at the club. Your performance is going to suffer. Your mentality, your head's not going to be straight. You saw that last night. In Frankfurt, he had a cool head on him. I thought it was superb, apart from diving out in the 97th minute with that silly tackle that got him booked. That's the Romero that we should have seen week in, week out. He's twerking for Spain. Let him go. End of. You just want players coming in. The hype around Vuskovic has been very high for the last 2 years. Throw this kid straight in. Let's see how good he is. If he's that good, if he's the monster that everybody's making him out to be, let's see. Let's see. Listen, if you're 16, you're playing in the Croatian Premier League, you're no mug. He's done well in Belgium. So he's had 2 years experience in senior leagues, not the top leagues in Europe, but decent leagues. It's not like he's come from a championship club or Scotland. So for me, sell Romero, bring the money in. Let's have a look at Vuskovic. If he's not up to it, we need a better centre back. Listen, we got Danso, for me, is a good player. Dragusin in another system would be much better. So it's not like we're not short of centre backs at the moment.
I mean, guys, what did you all make? I mean, Van der Ven and Romero, again, I think what this has shown to many people that purely blamed it on, well, when Van der Ven and Romero are back, results improve, we're much better with them. There is actually zero evidence to support that now, guys. They were both dreadful yesterday. Again, both of them are very bad in the air. I'm sorry. Both are very poor in the air. Both make rash decisions. Both don't mark their man. What are we saying, guys? Romero?
I think he's a severely overrated player. I mean, he had a very good season before we signed him. When we got him from Italy, he was like Italian Defender of the Year. But then a lot of accolades. We've had like Goalkeeper of the Year come to us with Vicario or whatever it was. And it just makes me wonder, like, he seems to be levels above when he plays for Argentina. But when he comes back to play for us, he seems like a B-plus player at best. And I've just got to sit here and question his drive for wanting to play football, because he thanked the Argentinian medical team. It says a lot when you're not thanking the Tottenham medical team for getting you back to fitness, you know. He looks decent when players and teams are playing well. When teams start suffering, he goes missing. He's just one of those players, isn't he? He's just not world class.
He's been inconsistent this season, hasn't he?
Yeah, but then people are going to come at me with the argument, oh, he's won a World Cup. He's won a World Cup. He won the World Cup playing next to better players. A lot better players.
Come on, bro. What do you think?
Well, for me, he's just so inconsistent. And I mean, I don't understand why he can't just defend, why he's got to step out all the time, why he has to make the rush challenges all the time. Listen, if his midfield are not doing their job, right? If Son's not on the pitch, he's the captain. Tell him. Yeah. Stop stepping out yourself, trying to rectify things. Talk. Tell him. Because he's stepping out and, you know, in some ways trying to cover up for misdemeanors that's going on before. I'm not saying that's right, but I just want him to defend. You know, if we defend as two centre-backs, we look a lot better. But when he steps out, mate, it all goes wrong if you don't get the ball.
But I was told, this is the thing, Mark, this is what frustrates the life out of me. When he did this for 2 years under Conte, I was told that he only did this to cover the deficiencies of Dyer and Davis. Right? Now he's not playing with Dyer and Davis as centre-half. He still does it. And this is the problem. Said it then. He is reckless. He is a reckless centre half, and Ash is spot on. My man Ash is spot on. If you watch him closely, his centre forwards would love playing against him because he loses them. Every time. You've got to think about this. Every time he steps in, I say step into midfield, he flies into midfield, right? Every time he flies into midfield to make that tackle, naturally, you're leaving your forward. Naturally, the man that you are assigned to mark, you have left alone, right? And in all of these pictures, look, I'll show you a few. We love them. All these pictures. Where's there he is, Romero.
Where is Romero?
Right, Romero's in midfield. Right, let's have a look at another one. There's Romero running back in midfield. There he is. If you have a look here, where's Romero? Right, all right, he's not in midfield this time, but what's he doing at right back? Right, all of these pictures you watch. This is what he does. But I've been assured by everyone. That when he's back, when Van der Ven's back, when that back four is back, that we're going to be good. We've won one. I'll ask the question. Of the last 7 games where we've only beaten Southampton in the league, how many of those has Romero played in? Anybody?
6.
Do you know that for a fact, or are you just...
I'm just guessing.
That was a guess, I think.
6.
Right.
It's got to be most of them.
So he played against Forest, yeah? He played against Wolves. Did he play against Southampton?
Yes, he did.
Yes.
He came back against Bournemouth, and he's played every game since then.
Okay. So of the 7 games, he's played 6, and we've won 1, and that was Southampton. Right? I was told though that he
played 7. He's played all 8 games.
Yeah, but 2 in the cup. I'm talking about Premier League. Last 6 Premier League games.
Yes, he's played up the last 6.
Last 6 Premier League games, and the only one we've won is against Southampton. But again, guys, it's yet another thing when the ANGE fans have told me it's because Romero's not playing. It's because Van der Ven's not playing. It's because Solanke's not playing. It's because Bentancur's not playing. Porro, Udogie, they're all back. They've all been back for a while. It's because Kulu's out. You watch, we're missing Kulu. In the 3 games Kulu's been back, he's been absolutely shit as well. Yeah. Solanke hasn't scored a goal in open play for about 3 months, has he? 4 months.
Newcastle.
What?
John the 4th.
Let Romero go to Spain. He's only going to get shown up by the likes of Yemi Ramel, Endrick, all the quick players. He's going to get rinsed.
Corey, firstly, he will respect. First thing is, he will respect Simeone.
That is true. That is true.
Simeone doesn't stand for any nonsense. He's Argentinian as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
So he will slot into Simeone's defence. There will be a proper rigid system of defending, and Romero will have to buckle down and play that way, and he will do. You know, you look at when he plays for Argentina, the guys he plays at the back with are, who was the Man City player who was a bit hit or miss?
Otamendi.
Yeah, he's not great. Romero's better than Otamendi. If you gave me a choice of the two, I'd go for Romero every time.
I'd go
with
Otamendi's had a much better career.
And who's the third? Yes, he has in terms of trophies. He's been at Man City.
Well,
who was the other centre back? I'm trying to think.
That's a bloody good question. Was it 1/4?
I don't
know.
Because he plays 3 at the back, doesn't he?
Oh, it's going to bother me now.
Hang on, I'll get there.
Who is a really good centre half?
Argentina World Cup squad 2022. I'll
figure it out.
Hang on. Let's have a look. Argentina World Cup squad 2022. So
yeah, Martinez.
Oh, Sergio Martinez. So their defenders were Montiel, Romero, Tagliafico, Foyth, German Pizzella, Lisandro Martinez, Acuna, Molina, and Otamendi.
Because they're 3. I'm sure for the World Cup was Romero, Martinez, and Otamendi. They played in a back 3. And Martinez is another one. Makes loads of errors for Man United. Lots of mistakes. You know, for a World Cup winner.
Ash has hit on the head there with EDV.
So, yeah. Look, we can talk about VDV in a minute. Yeah, we'll come back to that. I make you right, Ash. We'll come back to that. Listen, I don't make you wrong. I think if he goes and plays for Simeone, do you know the difference is? If Simeone saw him running out into midfield and kicking people, he'd go, wait, whoa. I've got Rodrigo de Paul in midfield for that. I've signed Conor Gallagher for that. I've got his son that plays Simeone for that. I've got Llorente for that. You defend. Simeone's made Clement Longley look solid, right? So I've got no doubt if he goes there, he will respect him, obviously, the Argentinian connection, etc., etc. And let's be fair, Simeone seems to be trying to buy the entire Argentinian national team, doesn't he? He's got Alvarez up front. He's got Rodrigo de Paul. He's got Simeone. He's gonna get Christian Romero. He seems to get them all. But the two marks. It's a shame, isn't it? Because Romero on his day, and this is the sentence that kills all football players. Fulham, thought he was excellent. Thought he was excellent against Fulham. Frankfurt, thought he was excellent. All the other games I've watched him and gone, you are a liability. Is that fair, Marks? It's 2 marks?
Yeah, I'd agree with that, Savva. I mean, we all know the fella can play football at the end of the day. And he can. There's no, you're not part of a World Cup winning squad for nothing. But
sure,
it all boils down to, I'm a true believer in the fact of that if you can play football, when you watch football, if you can play football, you should be able to adjust, right? When you go in to a different system, when you're at the standard that Romero's at, that's what I'm talking about. Seasoned professional, like we said, won a World Cup. I can't understand why, like I said earlier, he's just not defending. I don't know, perhaps someone can help me. Ian, why is he stepping out into midfield like he is? Why is he doing that?
I'll tell you what I think it is, Mark. I think there is, as far as the players are concerned, there's no confidence in Ange at all.
Yeah.
They don't respect. Players are not idiots. They've played under other coaches and they've come here and they've seen how little coaching there is. And there obviously is some coaching, but it's way lower than anything that they've ever experienced at previous clubs. And they're probably looking at this thinking, do you know what? This is just a joke. We're wide open. We're actually wide open, and we're relying on moments like great moves, like we've seen. You see a few in a season. You can't play that way. It's not sustainable. And he must look at this, and he must look at. I can't think who the Argentinian manager is, but he obviously drills them well. They've got a decent coaching squad there, and he goes to Argentina. Then he comes back to this chaos, and he must think, "What am I doing here? This guy's an absolute joke." And
you're thinking of Scaloni. Scaloni's the manager.
That's it. So
I agree there. I do really agree that. Like,
there's a lack of, there'll be a lack of respect because he'll go with Scaloni, then he'll come back and he'll look and he'll think, what the hell's going on here? This is chaos. It's pure chaos.
I get that. But if you were a true leader, like if you're a true leader, a true captain, if you're a top player, you would surely, Lubo, you would stand out. Like, let's be fair, Ledley King played for some shit managers, right? Oh. And in some shit teams. Did anyone ever watch Ledley and go, oh, never? Like, we never watched Ledley and went, oh, God, what a performance. A
different class.
There are levels. Sol Campbell, sorry, wash my mouth out. Sol Campbell. Look at some of the teams he was in at Spurs.
Yeah.
He stood out and everyone in Europe wanted, like, he was head and shoulders above everyone else. This guy is not that. He doesn't stand out for the right reasons.
Ledley King, not only did he stand out, he made everybody else look better.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. Without Ledley, Michael Dawson wasn't half the player. Michael Dawson,
I'll give you
100%.
Michael Dawson looked brilliant when he was next to Ledley.
Absolutely.
When Ledley missed games because of his knee, Michael Dawson looked half the player.
And Dawson wasn't a bad player.
No, I'm not saying he was. I'm not saying he was.
What I would give for Michael Dawson now A defender that just wants to defend. Because, guys, when you look at it yesterday, by the way, I'm not going to let Van der Ven get off scot-free here, by the way. I'm not doing this, one's better. For me, Mickey Van der Ven, I've had my question marks. I'm always knocked for this. I've always said, if you take away Mickey's place, I want to see how good is he as an actual defender, right? I.e., if you put Mickey Van der Ven in that Forest team with Murillo and Milinkovic, right? What they do, I don't think Van der Ven's got that in his locker. One, he's not good enough in the air. And that's crazy because he's so tall that he's not good in the air. You watch him and watch Milinkovic. The difference is frightening, right? 12 million, Milinkovic. I've got an issue with that as a centre-back pairing for many reasons. One, I don't think Romero or Van der Ven are good enough in the air. Two, they're both injury-prone, right? Three, one is rash. The other one relies on pace. I don't think, when all these Spurs fans have talked about this great centre-back pair, I don't think it is. Just throwing it out there. I don't think it is.
I'm saying this on paper now. It's probably one of the worst centre-back pairings I've seen as a Tottenham fan. And there has been some shocking partnerships in the years. This, for me, has to be one of the worst partnerships. Like, when I go to do the video with Marks later on, I'm going to surprise them with my defensive pairing. It's literally Sol Campbell and Ledley King for me growing up. And that hurts me to say Sol Campbell.
Well, thanks for ruining that.
Well, you've literally said, I'm going to surprise them, and then gone,
well, those are the two best for me. The only reason why I'm picking Campbell is because of my dad, and my dad doesn't like bloody football.
I mean, look, let's be honest. When we're talking Ledley King and Sol Campbell, we're talking the levels. Now, not only those two, I remember the number of people that come into my chat telling me that Christian Romero is as good as Vertonghen or out of Ireland, and I'm just like, no. In no reality is Romero and Van der Ven anywhere near the level of Vertonghen and out of Ireland.
Woodgate. What the great
Woodgate. Class centre-back. Class.
If he wasn't so injured, he would be literally world-class, world beater playing at Madrid for a very long time. But it's his injuries that set him back.
Class. But guys, this is a worry, right? Next season, whoever the manager is, we seem to be building all of our hopes as Spurs fans around this centre-back partnership that I don't think is that good and that is always injured. And what did we make about them both being taken off at half-time?
Well, I think Ange said it was pre-planned. For me personally, I think Romero was hooked because he would have got a red.
Yeah.
Because he could have been booked 3 times in the first half, I think. Van der Ven, quite possibly. That for me, that's sensible. It didn't affect the second half at all, did it? Either of them coming off with Danso and Davis on.
I didn't think we played with Danso and Davis. I feel like we played better with them two at the back. I really do.
Why?
Well, I must say so again. Davis,
they know their limitations. They know their limitations. Those two. They don't try and do things that they're not good at. Neither of them try and listen. Obviously, it's slightly skewed because Forest in the second half spent about 99% of the game in their own half. But when I don't watch Danso and I don't want Davis. I don't ever watch Danso and Davis at the back and shit myself.
Right.
No more than Van der Ven and Romero, and this is where I'm at. This is where I'm at with it. But
you know what surprised me with that Danso Davis partnership? When Van der Ven and Romero are injured, we play better with Danso and Davis or Gray. It just makes you sit there and you have to shake head in disbelief. These two are supposed to be the better pairing.
But finally, I've talked about centre backs for J Essex comment. Fully agree with you on Richard Goff. If Richard Goff had been at our club for 5 or 6 years, then I would have put him in my best 11 in front of Toby. I loved Richard Goff. That year he played, I think he played next to Mabbott. They were superb. Just fantastic.
But Lubo, again, we're talking about players that a lot of younger fans haven't seen. And then what they do is they say nostalgia. Nah. Nah,
Goff was
nostalgia,
brilliant.
is it? They were proper players, weren't they?
Wow.
Brilliant.
Proper
Goff was
players.
superb.
Like I said earlier on, the quality of players between now and 15, 20 years ago when the Premier League was in its infancy, when things were starting to like find their way, the player levels between then and now, even across Europe, when you had your Zidans, you had your Figos, you had Maldini, Buffon, Schmeichel.
Oh, mate, the standard's nowhere near. But listen, I want to, if everyone's all right, is everyone all right for time for a minute or two?
Yeah.
Is everyone all right?
Yeah. Excuse me.
Look, we knew what was going to happen after last night. We were going to get a lot of, it doesn't matter. It's the Premier League. The Premier League's done. But we do head in to Anfield, which is a nice, easy game at the best of times. But we're heading to Anfield, guys, on a day where Liverpool can wrap up the title in front of their own fans. And it's kind of poetic in a Spursy kind of poetic way, isn't it? That we're part of their big day, aren't we? We're part of their big day. Guys, I have no idea now. I genuinely don't. I have no idea what team should play. I have no idea what to expect, whether we're going to go gung-ho, whether we're going to go defensive. And guys, it's a big day for us because all those that are saying the league doesn't matter, a defeat on Sunday?
Yeah, Sunday.
Defeat on Sunday. Yeah, it's only because I'm in Portugal, so I'm not doing a watch-along for this one. A defeat on Sunday equals our most ever defeats in a Premier League season. So this is a massive game for us, a massive game for them winning the league, and it's going to be more records broken for the wrong reasons. What do we expect, guys, team-wise, performance-wise? Does anyone give us any hope against a Liverpool team that need to win the league at their own ground?
Didn't Liverpool have a song until we beat them in the early 2000s that we didn't beat them at Anfield since the Titanic left port up there? Until we beat them in the early 2000s.
1983, I think it was, from 1912 to 83. Then we beat them again in 85.
Oh, right. I swear there was a song about like a mocking song since they. I've always found that funny, but I don't give us any hope. I mean, we've got 6 games left in the league. Is it 6 or 5?
5.
Out of those 5, I see a draw potentially with Brighton, and that is me, giving it everything. I mean, you look at the last 5 games we've got. The managers can coach their teams better, a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, guys, how are we setting up for this? I mean, are we going to see a Frankfurt defensive type performance? Or what team are we going to put out? Are we going to see Danso? Are we going to see Van der Ven? Because 4 days later, we're in at home to Bodo. I've got a feeling it's going to be an utter annihilation. And
is this Liverpool we're talking about? Is this Liverpool?
Yeah, Liverpool.
But I don't think it really matters. It's going to be a sacrifice. When we go there.
You forgot the key word there, a free hit.
Well,
it's a free hit.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. When do we ever win at Anfield?
I've
seen it. I've seen us win at Anfield, but it doesn't happen very often, right? With this system, this manager, right? If we play like we do last night, Liverpool will tear us a new one, like they did in the home game.
That was just what I was going to ask. And I know what your answers will probably be. But if we go because Liverpool are going to be up for it, you know what I mean, in front of their fans, winning the title, all that stuff, they're going to be proper having a go at us at the weekend. Now, I just wanted to ask the question, and I know after all the losses and everything and the shit football, yeah, fine. If we get pumped on Sunday, and I'm talking about 5, 6, 7. It could be. They've done a 6 already. While the fans were singing, there's only one ANGE Postecoglou at 5-1 down. If we get pumped on Sunday, is he gone?
Yes.
No.
Well, it's not going to happen, but yes, I want to see him gone.
No, I'm just asking.
Levy will not sack him till the end of the season, for me. There must be something in his contract where Levy gets offset, giving him millions of pounds in severance pay if he leaves it to the end of the season. Because you just look at it and you can't believe that that he's still there. By the way, Sav, I just want to ask you a question. Now Mark Cousins is off the phone.
Sorry.
So Richard Gough was born in Sweden. Sav, would you agree? Would you agree that Richard Gough made Gary Mabbott look very good?
Oh, Lubo, how can you do that to Mark? Listen,
I'm too young.
I'll tell you what I know.
Sorry, mate, I'm only joking.
I know you were. I know you were. That's why I haven't bitten.
What I would give to have a player just 50% as good as either of those two. 50%. I'll have the left leg of Gary Mabbott right now, if I'm honest. Like defenders that want to I'll take Neil Ruddock. I'm at the stage where I'll take Chris Perry. I'm at that stage where I watch how we defend. We don't do the basics.
I take it Gary Mabbott's left foot was not the one that was eaten by the rat. I don't know. Because he had half his foot eaten by a rat, didn't he, in South Africa?
God knows.
Yeah, he did. He was camping.
Yeah, it'd still be better, Mark. It'd still be better.
Well, yeah.
That half a foot's still better than half of this. It's just quietly rotting somewhere.
It's
still
just
in
the
South
standards
Africa,
of player. If you think about it over the years, and I'm sure Ian will agree on this, the standard of player that has declined, that has come to us since, I don't know, a long time ago. I don't want to put a date on it, but the steady decline of player that comes in, we don't have what I call seat lifters anymore. Someone gets the ball when you're in the stadium. It's like,
Mark, I agree with you up to a point. We had a period with Poch. Yeah. That was a fabulous team. We had a period with Harry.
Yeah, but no seat lifters. No seat lifters in that. Lubo, it was a great team. I'm with Mark. No one in that team got the ball when I went like that.
Not
Gary, a well-drilled team.
You disagree with Bale? I thought
Bale wasn't part of Poch's team.
Bale was Redknapp's.
Oh, Redknapp. Yeah, Redknapp. And Bale, who got me off my seat.
Modric got me off my seat as well.
And Modric for different reasons, but yeah, for sure.
No. How long ago is that now, Ian? What year are we talking about now? Sorry, my mind's a bit misted here. When was you go back to Modric and you go back to Bell? We're not talking about like it was a couple of years ago. It was a good few years ago now. We're 2025 now. And that's what I'm saying. Since Poch,
get a calendar.
We've just gone that way. You know what I mean? And I just don't see, where the continuity, if you like. We need to buy better players. You know that, Ian, as well as we all do.
No, listen, even Ginola was half decent.
even Ginola. But do you know what? I watched on a TikTok thing earlier. They were asking, someone was interviewing Morgan Gibbs-White, and he had to, one of them things where they give you a player and you have to rate them 1 to 10, but you don't know who all the players are going to be. And they were saying, I'll rate these players for skill. And players were coming out like Hatem Ben Arfa, right? JJ Okocha.
Rest in peace.
One was Wilf Zaha to a lesser degree. There were players like Dimitri Payet. Like I'm not even going back. I'm not going back 20 years. And then at the end of it, Morgan Gibbs-White said, none of them now. I was like, and he's right. There isn't. And I like the way you put it, Mark. Seat lifter. I remember during my time with Ginola being whenever he got the ball, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And the guys behind me used to say, sit down, Savva. Like, when you knew everyone, you said, sit down. I was like, it's Ginola. He's going to do something. He's going to beat a man. Now, anyone gets the ball and I go, all right, let's be fair. Odebear gets it, Sung gets it, Tell gets it. Whoever gets it, I go, all right, let's see what happens here. No, there's no excitement, is there, guys?
No.
I like Maddison, but he's not exciting. I like Tulu.
Yeah,
he's not exciting.
Football's changed and it's very robotic. It's very if you watch 95% of football is two touch, it's control and pass and move. players don't dribble that much. That's why yesterday, for me, I just enjoyed, at least he might not have had that much success overall, but at least Tell had a go at his fullback. Odebear was having a run at his fullback. We don't see this anymore. And this is the problem. And we don't have the players like Bale, for argument's sake, who, you know, it's been coached out of them. It's very, very rigid. The way teams are coached, all they want to do, everybody wants to play Pep's way with, you know, with passing all
with players that can't do Pep's way.
No, that's right. No, but they all want to pass the other team to death, you know. And unfortunately, this is why football this year in the Premier League has probably been the least entertaining that I can remember.
Mm. Do you know what? This is true, isn't it? It was every time Ginola got the ball, you just heard that clatter because everyone stood up and the seats all clattered behind. There were the days of the really old rickety plastic. Do you remember, guys?
Yeah.
It was like,
oh, those uncomfortable. Oh,
and then you go, oh, and then you get it again. You go, oh, like just Lubo, you are absolutely right. And I think this is the thing for anybody that calls it nostalgia. And when I do some panel shows, I know I look young, everybody, but when I do some panel shows and I'm on with a lot younger people than me, they're like, oh, this is nostalgia. I'm like, no, you could, like, even them lot down the road. You think they had people like Robert Perez, who was a fucking genius, by the way. They had people like Mark Overmars. You think I'm going back. I'll go back to the early 90s. Andre Kanchelskis for Man United. Lee Sharp. Like, there were just even I'm going to a lower level. Peter Beagrie. Players like that would get the man, drink past their player, whip a ball in. Now, everything is
David Batty.
When the ball goes to Brennan Johnson, what's your first thought when the ball goes to Brennan Johnson?
He's going to lose it.
Sure.
Right. The attack
If you remember that goal, if you remember Giggs' goal in the semi-final against Arsenal with the replay.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that same year, funny enough, Ginola at Barnsley.
Mm-hmm.
I was behind that goal. That was fantastic. It was like, you know, we were buzzing from that goal all the way home. We didn't go until after that night, but just to be there when he scored that goal.
With Ginola, there was an elegance and a grace in his play as well. He could take a man on, but make it look easy.
The last goal we saw like that was Sonny's goal against Burnley when he went through the whole team.
Yeah.
2 years ago, was that 2.5 years ago?
Yeah.
I tell you what, big up Daniela. It's a good point as well. If Spurs lose and West Ham manage to get a win this weekend, we're going to be 17.
Fucking joke, man.
Guys,
hey.
I don't care. I don't care where we finish in the league now. I don't care if he wins the Europa League. This guy's got to be sacked.
At least we can we're not going down.
No. I must tell you something. I got for Daniela. I got an email. I got a text this morning. Woke up this morning. My pal in Florida, who's the mad West Ham fan. Let's be honest, both our teams are shit. And that you can't answer that, can you?
No. What I've said, right now, I know a few Chelsea fans, a few Arsenal fans that live near me. Even they don't take the mick out of me anymore. Whereas back years ago, if we lost a game, my phone would be on meltdown. I'd have to turn the damn thing off.
No.
You know, but now, when we lose, we lost last night. I never got one single message. I never got one single message about losing.
JJ Kocher is not dead.
I was thinking of the player that was struck by lightning and died on the pitch.
Mark, you're spot on.
I never got one single message because we lost last night. People feel sorry for me now.
Yeah,
they almost take pity on me.
Wolfie,
I've got West Ham fans.
Didn't even take the piss out of me in our WhatsApp group. I'm in with Wolfie. They're not even literally. I'm literally like, guys, you see how shit we are now, and they're all like, everyone started coming around to, because I think when I first started saying this, I think people thought I was being overreactive about how bad we are and how bad Ange is. Now people are going, you've lost 18 games of football. Like 1-8. I'm like, 1-8. No, but you haven't lost 18. 1-8. We've look. Let's have a look at the Premier League table. Let's have a look at this.
Let's not.
Let's. Look at it. Tottenham Hotspur, 18 defeats. Now, to put that in perspective, that's double Brighton, who have got, I think Brighton's manager is still in secondary school, right? Brighton have lost 9 games, right? Do you remember that awful Thomas Frank that people don't want? He's lost 13. People are going, I don't like him, right? Palace, David Moyes at Everton, 11 defeats. This terrible Man United team I keep hearing under Amorim, they've 15. Right? Look at Fulham, 11. Bournemouth, 10. This is utterly wank.
It's only the 3 teams at the bottom that got more.
That's right.
Look, 20, 23, 26.
Brighton fan now.
It's madness. But by the way, this Brighton team have fallen off a cliff and are still 11 points clear of Tottenham. You look, Brighton have not won a game in 5 in the Premier League and are still 11 points clear of Tottenham. And the reason I use Brighton as the benchmark is because that's the top half of the table. Palace, when Palace beat Spurs, right, we know they hadn't lost, but how many points were we above Palace at that stage?
8,
right?
9.
Now look at it.
Yeah.
Everton. When David Moyes went to Everton, how many points were Everton behind Tottenham Hotspur? When Vitor Pereira went to Wolves, how many points behind Tottenham Hotspur? Look at Vitor Pereira. So when you've got people like Matt in the chat who always says, "Oh, look at Amorim at United," isn't it funny that he doesn't use Moyes? He doesn't use Vitor Pereira. He doesn't use Glasner. He doesn't use any of the managers that have gone in and turned things around immediately.
When we played Palace, Sav, when we played Palace, we were 7th after 8 games.
Yeah.
1 4, drawn 1, lost 3. We had 13 points. Palace were in 18th place with 3 draws, 5 defeats. They hadn't been battered. They only had a minus 6. They scored
3 points.
3 points.
Okay. So in that time,
we were 10 clear. We were 10 clear.
Okay, so we were 10 points clear of them. They're now 7 points clear of us.
So 17-point swing in 25 games.
17-point swing. Crystal Palace. But this is Crystal Palace. No offense. This is Crystal Palace. They keep losing their best players. Look at the swing of Everton. Look at the swing of Everton since he took over, David. Vitor Pereira. I remember. Do you remember, Lubo? We were having a conversation once about. It was like, I'm gonna give you your flowers, as the kids say, Lubo. I remember I said there is not a chance Wolves are going to get anywhere near us. Look at them. Look at them.
17-point swing since he's come in.
In his last 6 games alone, he's got 16 points, and in that same period of time, Tottenham have got 4, and we've still got fans who want him. It's bloody hilarious. It's hilarious.
And then you got to look at Palace as well. They've turned around their goal difference as well and points. I mean, I'm saying this as a Brightonian. It hurts to see Palace that far up the table, to be honest with you.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Lubo, how many points did you say when we played Palace we was on in 7th place on how many points? 13
from the first 8.
So he's got 24 points.
The week before, we'd beaten West Ham 4-1.
Yeah. So he's got 24 points in his last 25 games in the league. That's what he's got. How do you want that for a stat?
Let's
get this guy out.
4 years. Well done, Ange.
Get him out of our club. He is shocking, bro. Less than a point a game. What are we doing here? What are we doing here,
Percy?
This is bangers, mate. I don't care if we're in the Europa League or not. It's bangers. Get him out of our club and get us a proper coach in. This is disgusting. Europa League semi-final or not. It's absolute bobbins.
Hang on,
let him rant.
Man. This is shite. Absolute shite. I saw shite in 76. This is worse. Get your head round it. We need a proper play, proper coaching, and we need to get some experienced players in. When are people gonna see it?
And what about the chairman that lets him carry on, Mark? Tell me.
Please like and subscribe as well.
We are a laughing stock, mate. 24 points out of 25 games.
Cookie, it's like the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. It's with these fucking fans, mate. They want to be stupid and blind to the situation here. This manager isn't fit for purpose. We've got a scouting network that couldn't scout a fucking banana or a chocolate bar. We've got fucking players that want to fuck off to Spain are going to get shown up in the Spanish league. I'm sorry. Romero, I'm saying this now. Once he fucks off to Spain and sees the quality of the level of players in Spain, he's going to get rinsed. He's going to get rinsed.
But he might not, though, Corey. This is the thing. He might not. If you've got Romero, I do. But listen, I don't think he's world class like others do. He's been too hit and miss all his career for that. But Simeone does have a habit of getting the best out of players.
Well, just look at Gallagher, for instance.
Well, look, Conor Gallagher was doing. This is the thing. For all those Spurs fans who were going, we don't want Conor Gallagher. Look at the midfield we've got. They didn't want Conor Gallagher. But
I was in that weird percentage that wanted Gallagher. I don't care if he's Chelsea or whatever. The player is better than what we've got.
Yeah.
He is.
Guys, unless anybody's got anything else to say, I'm going to just go back to Ethan's point. Big up, Ethan. Thank you again for this. Just to let he's just letting you know, Lubo, that possession doesn't equal we played well. So I just thought I'd bring that up again. So Ethan, you've got to be careful with Lubo. He gets a bit precious about his Tottenham. He does. Big up to you, and big up to Atavatron Wembley 1, who has said, you haven't mentioned one bright spot from last night. Son didn't play and wasn't missed. Well, listen, I've got a feeling, as we spoke about yesterday, I've got a feeling there's going to be a lot of noise coming out about certain players when this godforsaken season ends. I think you're going to see a lot of noise about Van der Ven, Romero, Son, Maddison, Mikey Moore, Archie Gray. I think there's going to be a lot of, I think there is, but I think we'll see it. I think there's a lot of discontent at the football club. I think there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. And my only hope that Levy hasn't sacked him, my only hope is that there's going to be a massive clear out in the summer of manager, director of football operations. That is my only hope. My only hope is that Vinay Ventukesham coming in has agreed that with him. That is my only hope. I'm at the stage where I don't even care about the Europa League. It's tainted. It feels, I don't care. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Guys, at 1 p.m, for anyone that does want to join, I am going to just do a quick 45-minute tactical analysis on Big Up at 1 p.m, if anyone would like to join. Then I'm live quite a lot today. Then at 5 p.m, I've got The Collective, where we get to hear Wolfie tell us why our team is so shit. Actually, Wolfie might not be on at 5 o'clock. And then this evening at 10 to 8 on Big Up, I'm going to be watching a proper game of football. It is Manchester City versus Aston Villa. That should be a very, very good game of football. So join me for that. Please go and subscribe to the Two Marks. If you do, I promise Cookie will he will have one of those passionate rants every day for the next year. He will. I promise. He'll go for it. And please subscribe to myself. We've been a bit poor with it today. We've had 6 or 7, but we've had over 500 in here for 2.5 hours. We really, really should be getting about 20 in. So please, if you haven't subscribed, please do. The link is pinned. Reezy, you're a troll at this stage. I don't care about the Europa League, mate, for the simple reason we've beaten no one en route. And I almost begrudge this manager going into our Hall of Fame. I begrudge it because
I said it a week
in 10 years, 20 years, I will not be telling kids, grandkids, nephews, whatever, nieces, I will not be telling them about, oh, you should have seen Ange and the Europa League. I'll be telling them about how shit his record-breaking season was for the number of defeats we had. So if you think beating Frankfurt by a penalty and then beating Bodo Glimt is something to celebrate, knock yourself out. Not for me. Sorry, not for me.
Sav, can I give one big up to David E, who's listening? If he's not listening because he's got a dog business, he looks after dogs for people. He'll be listening in afterwards. He woke me up first thing this morning with a rant that was as good as you and Mark put together. So, hi, David. Good afternoon. I said I'd give you a call up. There you go.
Cam, I listen, it's not about one game. Cam, 18 defeats, mate. This isn't about Liverpool. This is going to be our 19th defeat of the season. I very much care that we've lost 18, 19, 20 games this season. If you don't care, you are not. Sorry, how can anyone say they're a fan and just say they don't care about this number of defeats? Absolute fake fans.
I've been saying this for ages now. I do not want a winner's medal around the fucking manager's neck of the worst Tottenham manager I've seen in my lifetime. I do not want a medal around this arrogant, rude, narcissistical, tactically inept fuckwit of a manager. Because then he'll just boast, yeah, mate, I've won something. It's my fucking second season. I told you. I don't want that arrogant prick rubbing it in my face that he's done it. Worst fucking manager I've ever seen.
Listen, it's not just about 18 defeats. Is it 18 defeats? It's 18 defeats.
18 at the moment.
Since Chelsea, we had, what did we have? We had 28 games last season, and we've had 33. So in 61 games, we have lost 30 matches in the last 61 league games, and that will probably end up about, I would think, that 33, 34 out of 65.
It's like that thing I linked up earlier on about the comparison between Pochettino and...
Was it something like 20 16 in 3 years, was it? I think 18 in 3 years.
16 in 3 seasons, and just managed 18 in 33.
All right.
Listen, I'll leave it there, guys. Look, the link I'm putting in there is for Big Up. I'll be live over there in 16 minutes. Just going to go through on Big Up. For anyone that hasn't joined, please do. What it allows me to do is it gives me all the video clips from the moments last night. Any of you guys are welcome to join me live on it as well. You can come on. It gives you the clips that we can play back and have a look at the important moments of the games, a bit like they do on Sky. So I'll be able to look at the first clip of the goal we conceded, for example, and we can have a look what went wrong, what we should have done, etc. So there is the link to that. Please go over there and join me at 1 p.m. And it's a good bit of kit. It's a good bit of kit. It's a good tool, and it just allows us, rather than us talking about it and looking at still images, we can actually look at it and say, well, look, here's what happened. So any of you are welcome to join me. Other than that, take care. Much love. And as always, get Ange out of our football club. Ours.
Yeah.
Not mine, not Lubo's, not Mark's, not Corey's. Ours. All of our football club.
Well, that's really a message to Daniel Levy, isn't it? Because he's the one man who can pull the trigger.
As I said, Lubo, I keep going to end the show. We're still here. As I said, Lubo, my only thing that I'm clinging on to is that with Vinay Venkatesham coming in, is that he is planning to get rid of with all these reports that Money's going and that Lang is going. My only hope is that we get to the last day of the season, and then that following week we hear boom, 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 have all gone. That's my only hope, is that they then get Vinay, who gets, I don't care now, gets Paratici with Glasner, that's my only hope. But if this manager is manager of Tottenham Hotspur next season, I think I might cry. Like, genuinely, on screen, you might see tears. I might have an epic meltdown. Yeah. By the way, let's end on a positive. Tottenham Hotspur did make £3.5 million last night in profit. Would anyone know how?
Food, shirt sales.
We certainly didn't go up a place. We certainly didn't go up a place.
Didn't go up a place. So last night, by Burnley getting promoted, they have triggered the obligation to buy Marcus Edwards from Sporting of which 3.5 million will be owed to Tottenham Hotspur. Come on!
So
There we are.
They must have paid 10.5 million roughly.
I just saw it this morning, and I thought to myself, well, there's an excuse for us not to go up one place in the league. We've got it off Marcus Edwards. So, by the way, well done to Marcus Edwards, ex-Spurs, and ex-Spur Scotty Parker. What a phenomenal year. 15 goals conceded in 44 games.
Can we have him as manager?
Maybe, Ange, just watch how Scotty Parker sets his team up. Take care, everyone. If you want to join me on Big Up, the link is there. I'll put it again. I'll be there in about 13 minutes. See you later. Bye-bye.
Peace.